go on about, because I know for a fact that Noella may have a few questions for a certain somebody in this party.
Uh-oh.
I'm just reacting to everything as it happens. So
You're a sponge right now. You're like absorbing it all in.
What the fuck is going on?
Oh, geez. Not
That's
even.
essentially, yeah. I was like,
I mean,
what happened? Who are you? What? Yeah. No, that's essentially where it's at right now. She's a big blank wall. She has no idea what's going on other than these are the people that she's been thrown into battle with out of nowhere.
Well, if your player was here right now,
Your character.
was here right now, what would she have question wise for, Noel or Z or me or Ryan Power Calls?
It's more or less.
You yourself, do you feel as towards me or anybody else in the player game aspect of it?
See, the thing is like, as I said with my characters, especially because it was kind of just like, hey, surprise, you're joining us now. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. But I don't have a whole ton of D&D experience, so I don't have that many questions to ask, because I don't really know what questions I should be asking. Very much a noob, so...
The good part is you'll have the questions on watching your student.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm already on my second character for the first campaign I've ever played.
Yeah, you've had a short-lived career so far.
Exactly! I was like, I've literally only had this character in this campaign for like 4 or 5 days worth of playing time before the new one had to start.
Just be glad you don't have an emotional attachment to your characters. You're like, oh my god, don't let this one die, don't let this guy, because even past campaign, I let my first character in the last campaign live for a while, and then we're like, oh no, she died. But we're like, oh my god, she died. And then compared to Ayla, where the fucking harps came out of nowhere, you're like, oh no.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of mad Miss died so early because I spent a lot of time making her, and coming up with her name was a pain in my butt, especially because I was like, I want this character to have very specific characteristics. Okay, what's her name gonna be? And then we came up with it after 3 days of trying to figure out what I was gonna call her.
Hey, you could be similar. Just saying. That boy will.
Yeah. I struggle a lot with the whole creating a character. It took me, I don't know, the first character I made forever.
There was a lot of questions asked.
The first character being Shy, Dan, correct?
Yeah.
he took a month on that.
Yeah.
Scienton took me forever. I was right in your shoes. I didn't.
Right now. I was like, all right, I'm pulling a character out of my butt in 5 minutes.
All right. Shy.
I didn't have a clue.
Personally, if you would like.
How do you feel about it?
How do I feel about you guys?
As people.
As people?
As people.
As people, I love everyone. I enjoy my Tuesday nights. I enjoy my Tuesday nights of coming to Game Ball and hang out with you guys.
Now for me,
I mean, except for Timber, I don't know about much, but I'm kidding. I like it.
But so how long ago did D&D with Frank in general start? Because I know I started a few years ago.
Oh, that's a good one.
Frank has a long history of DMing. He has an even longer history of playing D&D, and that goes all the way back to second edition, which is known as D&D Advanced. So basically, you really don't get to pick anything. You get everything's scripted for you. Basically, you choose whatever race you have, and then you have to go off what that race can do. So
you're not even given
you get a class, but it's limited. You don't get like how you played a Goblin Barbarian. You wouldn't have gotten that in second edition.
Because you can't play Goblin either.
Well, not only that, but I mean, like
there was only a limited amount of races and classes you could have done.
A human could play anything, but an elf would be like you could only be a ranger or a spellcaster.
I think Frank said before he's been at it for
15
years.
15,
17 years.
17
I
years now.
played since 3.5. So it was a little bit different. I mean, it's still different doing 3.5 compared to 5e with some of the stuff.
Okay, so question that I have for the group altogether.
All right.
How long has you guys' D&D career been, basically?
I can tell you right now, all but the two of us probably have the shortest one, only between Arian and I.
My first taste of D&D was Frank was running a campaign, and I had never played. It was 3.16. So 6 years of experience now.
I would like to add an editorial to this. Even though I've only been playing D&D for a very short time, D&D has literally been in my life since I was a very small child. My dad played and has been playing since Dungeons and Dragons came out when it was first released.
That's what, 78?
So he's pretty much been playing it since it's been released. So he's been playing it off and on for like 20-ish years. So for my dad's group, when they would play on Saturdays. So I knew every day, all day on Saturday, my dad was not available because he was at his whatever's friends was hosting it that day playing D&D. And I actually sat in on a couple of sessions, but I had absolutely no idea what was happening at all.
So basically, your D&D career has only been a few months.
Yes.
But you've been around it for years upon years.
I would have to say my D&D started before Ben was born, so that would be 2008 or 9. We started before even I had before Frank or anything. So yeah, 2008, 2009 I started. I had a hiatus for a while, played more whenever I lived out in Sticks and in Morgantown, stopped for a while, and I came down to it. So if I decreased some of that, well, 9, 10 years.
So
that's mostly
Before we move into that, I want to give a quick shout out to the one viewer we do have right now, as our good friend J. Rue has chimed in and said hello to the group.
Hi, J. Rue.
Hello. And for those of you that don't know who J. Rue is, J. Rue graciously let us use his gaming shop a couple weeks ago for the crossover event, and as we had the Solstice Surprise episode 27. If you want to go back in the archives to look. Yep, I know. Oh, and we are on episode 30. We just had episode 30, which I'm currently uploading right now. Sorry, we had to break it into parts. I don't have the editing tools to do that here at the moment and to put it all together in one video. But you guys will figure out how the story progresses. And don't try to skip to the end because there's a lot of stuff you'll miss in between. Especially a pork chop. I got to pick on you, my friend, and because you did get a little emotional there in that episode.
That was episode, not episode 27, it was episode 28.
Like 3 episodes ago, wasn't it?
That was 29, which is already uploaded.
No, 28.
Oh, yeah.
Recaps it kind of, but to get the raw motion was 28.
That's, you're correct. That's my bad, and I apologize for that one.
Basically, long story short, you want to see a big man cry?
It's not very hard to do.
You gotta do that.
Yeah, but
But
again, and if you guys haven't checked him out, go follow J-Roo on his YouTube channel. Old Gamer Got a Game, as he's on his quest to play and collect the most video games ever. As he's already hit his first 1,000, by the way.
Congratulations.
So, but getting back to it, Mr. Sivanak, how long was your
Booted with this group.
Oh, that's right. I forgot Scoop's one of the later players. So.
Yeah, well, I'd say last summer, end of summer, early fall, I started in this group with a character named Shaitan in the campaign y'all were doing beforehand. I got there towards the end. So
the Dragon's
about a
Laminate.
year. Yeah. So I was learning everything. I had heard about D&D for, most of my life, but never played it, was never around it a lot. No one that I hung out with really ever talked about it. I just heard it, here and there. But finally come into a group of people, started with Noella there, or Sway. And kind of was like, hey, come play. And so then I met everybody else, basically.
So that leads us. Yeah. So sorry about that, Scoop. Tyler, or how long have you been playing? Because I know you and I talked a lot over in the media suite down at Cal U.
Yeah.
I know you were in you were playing in like 3 or 4 different campaigns, running a couple one shots. So you've been pretty busy when it comes to the D&D.
Yeah, like as of now, I'm in 2 different campaigns, this one included. And I'm going to try and get my own campaign set up myself. The first couple sessions went pretty well. I first got into it around 2018 when some of my classmates got me into it. But I feel like I truly got more invested into it around 2020 when I had more access to how the game works, had access to meeting with other people who want to play D&D. I met some good friends that way. Heck, I play with one of them every Saturday or Sunday morning. So, and then eventually when I came over to college, I heard that I met you, Donovan, and then we tried to do an Icewind Dale campaign on the radio. And then
Worked out for
over
a little
time, that
while.
didn't go so well. But then I was thrown into this, and I'm just trying to survive at this point.
You love us.
Yeah, you guys are not gonna let me go.
But which, by the way, I do plan on bringing back the Vulcan Adventurers at some point in time this fall. May not be Icewind Dale, but we'll do something and all. And however, that's for another time. So I'm going to ask this question to everybody. What have you thought of the campaign so far? Or I know Arian and Tyler, you guys came in a little late. For everyone else, Shy, Viking.
God is evil.
Yeah.
By that we mean Frank, the DM.
Just so y'all know, we're referring to Frank, who is not here, luckily.
What do you think about the campaign so far?
So doesn't that mean you need to go
But
first
you're
then?
a lady, Noella. Yeah, that's you first.
Hey.
You walked into that one.
Just because I'm the lady in the group that has the most etiquette out of the whole entire party
Okay.
doesn't mean anything.
Are
Okay?
you trying to make me fucking shit?
But it's okay. Don't worry, darling. I'll go first. Truth be told, starting out this campaign, I'm not gonna lie, I hated it. I hated the beginning of this campaign because everywhere that I went, everything that ever happened to me, I couldn't walk into a damn room without getting attacked by something stupid.
Not in the beginning.
Room.
Yeah, once you went to the murder house.
I walked into a house and got attacked by a suit of armor,
A door.
a broom, and a fucking door. Okay, I hated it because my original character. I said, okay, I'm going to play a rogue.
And you stole everything.
I'm going to sneak around. I'm going to look for traps, and I'm going to steal everything I can get my hands on.
And that worked for a while.
And it works until I met Demon House or Hell House or Satan's House or whatever the hell it's called. And as soon as I got there, I got dropped 3 times by stupid things. So that irritated the hell out of me. I was like, man, I'm not used to this. Plus, the last player that I did play in the last campaign, I was a damn barbarian. So I was the first into the fight, swinging for the fences. I started half the fights. It was fun. I had a blast just going in and kicking people's ass. It was fun. This campaign, I started off trying to, be sneaky, roguish, blah, blah, blah. Now I got my ass handed to me 3 times in a matter of 2 game sessions.
You kind of have a feeling, because we couldn't be told, that house is practically alive.
Yeah.
Until my favorite part of that was because Will had just thrown a question, and I've seen so many people talk about mimics. Mimics could be almost anything.
Which I'm obsessed
All
with.
I
mimics,
ever
by the way,
did
now.
was ask.
You mean including the one that's sitting behind us right there?
Yeah.
All I literally asked the dungeon master, just out of curiosity, what are the odds? While he's getting ready to touch a door, what are the odds a door could be a mimic? And I'm just imagining this big gaping mouth, and he's like, honey, you should ask that. Roll dice. Why? Flips open a picture of a mimic door. And I was like, I was just genuinely curious. Didn't realize I was asking Gold about it.
Yeah. I mean,
Look, to be honest, that was funny.
oh yeah, it was hilarious.
Watching someone.
But now I'm obsessed with mimics. I have a mimic dice gel. I actually want to get a mimic tattoo on my elbow, so it looks like it's opening. It would be hilarious.
I get it right here. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it somewhere. But I want to get I'm obsessed with mimics. But I'm getting off topic because that's what I do. But
Wouldn't have it any other way without you.
now progressing through the campaign, I can honestly say that this may be my favorite one because I'm a huge horror movie buff. I love horror. I love everything that involves horror. So the way this is playing out is very, very intriguing and very interesting to me, especially for the things that have happened to my character. My character's been through some shit, and it's actually turning out pretty awesome. So I really do enjoy this campaign now. At the beginning, I despised it. I just wanted to go back to being a barbarian, beating people's ass, getting it over with.
Kicking ass, taking names.
Yeah. Or like Pork Chop would say, kicking names and taking asses.
You got that from me, you dick.
So, yes, I really enjoy this campaign now. I did not like it at first, but it is very fun now. Sir?
I'm still honestly on the fence about this campaign, simply for the fact it's really grinding. And I get that not every campaign can be smooth sailing like the previous one was.
Well, let's be honest here. How many times we've thrown Frank off the rails in the last two campaigns?
This is true. There were moments though in the previous campaign that were just nobody fucking saw coming.
Especially like we did in the one shot.
Divine intervention.
Send the dragon.
Hey, the previous campaign, Pork Chop absolutely had the trust of the Flint King.
Well, not even that.
And then I stabbed him in the frickin' throat.
You talking about
And that
defining
was
what he did.
great.
He kept hinting at like 7 deadly sins, which turned out to be my character, well, my prior character, but my then character's sister, her husband, friends that they made along the way, and they were supposed to be like helping Vecna, bringing Vecna forth, but we pretty much convinced them not to, and we did it so well that Frank hated it, applauded us for it, and there was one of his plans to have us have to fight my character's sister, Workshop's love interest, even though he's mad that she married someone anyway. But all the people we got to know, we didn't have to fight because they fought with us.
Off in another galaxy here.
But as we get farther into it, it's becoming more well-rounded. I feel that this module itself could be smoother in a sense. It feels very choppy. But then again, I don't think as players we're going how we should be. We're jumping from location, 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 location. And I think that there is an actual way to play through. So to me, I'm looking more towards the end game to find out how it's actually going to go for us. So I'm on the fence. Do I like it? Yes. Do I not like it? Also yes.
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones as we are approaching the 20-minute mark here in our first segment, and just want to throw out there we've gotten up to 5 views so far on the live stream, and we have 3 likes so far. For those of you that are wondering where the rest of us are, we are on the Zoom link. We will be uploading the full video that shows everyone, and later on So for those of you wondering, that'll be coming at a later time. And probably tomorrow I'll have that all taken care of. Anyway, Lisa, you shut. Oh, we'll come back. We'll come back here since you got a mouthful. Right now.
That's
Oh.
what she said.
Shut up. So how about the? We'll come back to you. So we'll go to Scoob on this one.
Wow, thanks.
This is the first campaign that I've, started. Like I said, with the last campaign, I come in towards the end. So creating a character to start right into like my first actual campaign. It's been pretty interesting. I don't have much to base it off of, so whether good or bad, I'm playing, I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to develop the character I created, get more in touch with, how Sivanak would feel about everything. So this is still kind of brand new to me. But I'm enjoying the storyline's been a whirlwind of emotions for sure.
Between you and Porkchop, I don't know who's had more tears in their eyes.
He's cried. He had his eyes like to the top of the lids, full of water. They did not run like breach.
I'd have full on legitly ugly cry. Like Orange is the New Black, ugly cry, okay? Listen, there's a long story behind that. I'll tell it.
I was gonna say that's for another time.
Yeah. But I full on like had to look away from Frank, wanting to.
You got up and left the damn room.
I physically got sick, like literally physically sick to my stomach from dealing with all the emotion from it. So that's why I had to walk away.
Tell you guys the possibilities of what were going to happen, or the possibility of one character or the other. I was told.
Yeah, I feel bad for about the one shot because I literally came up with that list with Frank, and he changed a couple of those on me. But most of that list, me and him sat down there one night and literally just started rattling off stuff, coming with Arian, of course, and just came up with a bunch of random things that could happen. And if any of you guys said yes, or if you fell, well, one said yes and two fell all in that battle. And
yeah, I don't know. That particular week, during the one shot and then the week after with how everything went, that was a huge turning. I know it's recent, but that was a huge turning point in just the campaign in general for me. Like, I'd leave the campaign in our D&D session, like, each week. That game night, like, the whole week bothered me. Like, emotionally, I was just like, all right, why is this? I'm not even in game mode right now, or like this is like this entered, like seeped into the rest of my life. But I was like, all right, now we're serious about this stuff. So
that it got deep there at that point in time.
It was literally like your pretend life that you do once a week literally affected the reality of the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's literally how I felt too. I was literally thinking to myself countless times, how the hell am I living in two different worlds? Like, this is exactly what it feels like.
You could contemplate rolling a dice the next time you came in to see if you would just tell Frank, I'm going to break this table.
Yeah, like I literally, me and Sivanak Steven both have jokingly, but not actually jokingly, asked Frank how many hit points the table has. And we were literally about to flip that sumbitch.
Now, here's the thing. They were talking about a literal table, the one we were playing on.
Yeah.
It was definitely going to get a pork chop smash moment. I was about to go back to old school pork chop character, and I was about to break that shit because I was upset. And then, I may be one of those toxic masculinity guys to where I don't really like to show my emotions and cry and stuff. But yet, hey, let's sit down around a bunch of people, cry my damn eyes out, put it on the freaking internet.
And, I mean, it was great for the storyline. As we are at the 10-minute mark for the Zoom link. However, I'm going to leave the Facebook, the YouTube link up while we wait for this one to take care of. So that way, anybody that's tuned in, as we have now gotten up to 4 people on the live stream, and hello to everyone out there. While we're waiting on this one.
If you guys have any questions for us, feel free to post them in the chat box there, and we will answer them to the best of our capabilities.
I've also posted that and pinned that in the chat as well. So I will let everyone know we are getting close to a minute. However, we are going to stay live with it here on YouTube. When this one renders, we'll come back for the second segment. But for those of you that are on YouTube, you get an extended version of this first segment. So while we're on that, I'm going to move on back to Shy now. We were going to ask her, but she had a mouthful of trail mix over there.
She's being good. She's being good eating her vegetables.
Yeah. That's why I look at it. I was
Eat
like,
your vegetables, say your prayers.
What are you eating trail mix
All right,
for? You're
Hulk
on
Hogan.
trail.
listen, it's not trail mix, it's rabbit mix. Okay? But
It's rabbit what?
I have to agree with Viking here. When it came to last campaign, as most DMs will say, because they'll get some here and there for plots for a campaign. Oh, you're going this far, such and such amount of time happens. Juvenilation is popping up, and it kind of goes with the story. And you have other things come in that go with the story. It just, the DM, like a lot of them, will pull ideas, stories, plots out of their butt and just like, here you go. And it'll give us twists and turns and still throw them off the rails because of how we can handle it. However, first starting this one, which unfortunately we didn't get to air that, regrettably, but it was funny. I didn't know how to feel about being a level 1 because when I first started with these guys, we were level,
He was level like 10.
10, and I started out as like an elf ranger.
No, because we hit level 10 when I joined up.
Yeah,
Well, then,
I think it was a ranger.
I think we was like level 8 or so, because I remember whenever I joined up, we was around level 8. Whenever you joined up,
I think we were at 8 and we leveled up that night,
yeah, like the very first time we played.
But
which I thought was cool.
It's been so long since I've started as a level 1 character, and you only get so many things depending on what your character class and race is. It was very different to start that. So going through this one, I really like it. It's very different, but I do want to see how it gets from here to the end, especially when Frank has possibilities for that yet.
Right. And I'm excited to see that as well. Moving on to the last person here on the count, Arian. And I know you've only been with us for a short time, because you were with the Vulcan Adventurers and then got voluntold into the.
I got some words. All right.
Oh boy.
When I was just sitting in the background listening, I got so frustrated when you guys first started the campaign because I was like, guys, this person is sus. Why are you not doing anything? And you guys are all telling her about everything. And I was like, guys, she's sus. Somebody needs to do an oop and throw some holy water at her just to give her a vibe check because she's sus. She knows way too much. And she's just inserted herself into the situation. You need to do something. Yes. And then you guys were like, oh yeah, she's evil. I was like, yeah, don't stop.
I was watching her face.
He was like,
Funny.
buddy. And I was like, no.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Listen, ma'am. Okay.
She didn't like
Hold
it
on.
anyway.
Hold on.
Jump.
But I was like so frustrated. I was like, somebody needs to do something. Nobody's doing anything. Why?
Listen, you guys, hold on and for a second. I got something to say about that real quick. Y'all were all in on her, but you were more suspicious about the guy with the bow sitting at the bar.
He had a weapon.
And you don't?
No. She had too much information. He had a weapon.
No, she was suspicious of her, in her own little way because she was like,
And if I do recall, Zior made a perception check to see if she was undead on her footsteps.
I forgot about that, actually.
But the thing is,
Thank you for reminding me of that.
Didn't know is she
Did you
was
pass
out in
He
the
said there
sunlight.
was nothing there.
Yeah, she was also out in the sunlight.
And none of us knew a lot about vampires
Yeah.
minus him.
Yeah, that's also like the difference between what our characters know and what we can figure out as like ourselves.
Right.
So
He's the only hunter.
Now you have technically two hunters in the game.
But the thing is, most of us, even with the wealth of information, was like, okay, they can't walk. So I'm like, feel like this, and this, and I'm like, we just don't like her. She's a fancy, snobby lady at times. You were more like that.
Bitch.
Other than that, if you really didn't like snobby people, and you definitely went to a fancy party just trying to act like out snobbing them. But
It worked perfectly too, which was great. So
But it's still weird.
I was later on hand and foot by one of the strongest guys in the campaign just because I'm.
hold on. That was probably the best episode because that's also one of the most viewed ones on our account too. But that whole segment was funny, as you have Zior who's knocking the Burgermeister's its teeth out. Meanwhile, Noel is over here smooth talking in the hell out of this guy. And then we had the best line of the entire campaign.
Sanctuary, I have fucked up.
That has got to be a shirt at some point in time.
Would be a hat.
For the people watching on YouTube, should we put that as a shirt? Please tell us if we should put that as a shirt. Because we believe that we definitely should.
What episode was that?
That was like 12 or 13.
You guys got to go back, watch that fucking episode, and let us know if Sanctuary I have fucked up needs to become a shirt.
Listen, if it's not
Yeah.
Sanctuary I fucked up, the shirt that we were going to go next last time was like the creatively, ambitiously cartoonized, like googly-eyed looking thing, looking like a dragon. Pies.
Pies!
That was
It should
our
just
next.
be-
That was our last shirt.
That was from the last campaign, though.
The sanctuary shirt. It should just be like a door that's like half open, and it's just sanctuary.
No, it should be a door that's half open, but like the only thing you see is the accent of like the Leonin and the town, and then a thought bubble saying "Sanctuary, I am fucked up."
All right, as we're getting close to the 2-minute warning here, or we'll get back to that in a second. We have one more member to go through with Tyler. We got.
We were all round table talking and.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Let's Arian finish and then we'll get to Tyler. So you got to just speed
We're
run
gonna
it.
be hauling ass out of here tonight.
Anyway, so progressing through, there are a couple of things that have like frustrated me, but overall, I'm interested to see where the story goes. I'm interested to see where my characters are going to fit into it because as of right now, it is definitely Simonet and Noella and Havela leading the show. I'm sorry.
Well, was Havela.
All is null and void. Not all is well.
She still exists. That's why I'm keeping. She's still a main focus of it. So that's why I was like, right now, they're definitely a focus. But my character doesn't really have much to do because my character is working on very, very limited information. So I'm interested to see.
Well,
where it
technically
goes.
that's our fault, but
Speaking
anyway.
from the words of Noella, darling, I'm always going to be important.
I
Anyway.
don't doubt that your importance. I'm just trying to figure out where I fit in your importance.
So we're coming up on the 1-minute warning here. So what we're gonna have to do, because Tyler, I can see you got a lot you want to get off on this one. What we're gonna do, we come back. Oh, I knew it. When we come back after Zoom does its thing, we'll have Tyler or tell his part, or I'll even go into my part because I have not even got a chance to do that yet myself. And then we will go with the throwing shade questions. Some of these were given to us, others were written by the players. And yeah, we're going to see how many of these we can get through before the time runs out on Zoom. And then I have a surprise for another segment later on. And so with that, We'll be back right after this on Zoom. For those of you watching on YouTube Live, we're going to keep it right here as we're going to go with one of our other little segment and things.
Or you can do your take on the campaign.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could do that. Since I was going to do it for the video on here. Yeah. So, well, yeah. Well, here I was going to go back to the.
I think everybody needs to go.
Yeah.
I do.
Okay.
So, back to the T-shirt thing. For those of you that are watching on YouTube Live, for the 3 people watching right now, should we get Sanctuary I Fucked Up made into a T-shirt?
I vote
Your
for
votes
yes.
matter. Put them in the polls.
Leave a
Bring down
com-
the poll.
Leave a comment down there in the chat.
Give Noelle a poll.
Yeah.
I keep hitting your leg. I'm so sorry.
Not-
Kitty.
Not that kind.
Honestly, I'm waiting for something like that to happen in Vox Machina. It's just Scanlan pole dancing somewhere.
Like, Scanlan's already done a song about pulling one feet.
Is there a new episode of that yet?
Not until January.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Something else we need to get made into a shirt, and we're all guilty of this one. I got an idea. I want to do something stupid.
Hey, I want to do something stupid.
No. I want to get one for Havela. Be like, I see you.
And it's just a really, really, really gross
Like,
eyeball.
Oh, hold on. That leads
Running down, we're
hold
all
on.
just like,
I wish Simanak was here for this one, and because he'd love this idea. Yeah. Instead of build a bear, we got build a goblin.
No.
Or, it's just like take on it's a unicorn. It's so fluffy, I want to die. She has the head with the thumb horn like that she did on the head. It's like it's a unicorn.
It's so
She's going
cute.
cross-eyed like this.
With like the little Tweety
very
birds going around.
funky eyes, and she's holding the head because it's just a head.
Just have your character like super animated.
Animated like
ridiculously
happy,
animated.
just like it's a unicorn.
Like
going
huge,
cross-eyed.
gigantic eyes. It's a unicorn!
It's so gooey.
It's so gooey, I just want to die.
When in doubt, cough it up.
When in doubt, spew it out.
When they said to spew it out, I meant words, and then you just have like a red goblin. I meant words.
Yeah, let's not have a repeat of the cat throwing up hairballs on.
It wasn't just hairballs.
It was hairballs,
It was
human balls, it was every
blood,
damn thing. It was
grass, it was
scary.
hairballs, it was mutagen upon mutagen, and stomach acid.
You know what I think mainly
Blech.
it was? Fucking disgusting. That's what I think it was mainly.
Don't worry, she cuddled up right up to you. It slid right through a door.
Yeah. Right through it. If Wyatt was here, he would say, meow.
Noella, first.
Oh, you should remember this. And then one year, some things going in, not coming out.
Oh, dude, just imagine if Noella ever met Scanlan.
Oh, dear God. I'm sorry to say, in YouTube, you might get upset with this one. God damn it now. If Noella ever met Scanlan, it would be, you guys, we wouldn't get shit done. Nothing would get done because Noella and Scanlan would be off somewhere in the corner or not in the corner or the maybe corner just getting it the whole time. Where's Noella? You should know.
Hey, Scanlan, something.
You're right.
Well,
Wait, where's our Where's the bard and where's the cleric at?
Maybe their
Oh,
party
no.
would start our party would be like, who are you? Who are you guys? I don't know. Your person with our person.
But now it'd be like,
You guys in trouble. And they're like, what do you mean your girl? She's in trouble. Well, he's in trouble. She's in trouble.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
That'd be bad.
Yeah. They'd be telling, we'd be like, I'm so sorry. Like, no, she's going to be sorry. Why?
Yeah.
You just hear, pull on my motherfucking.
The bad part about it is Noelle would be singing it at that time, so they'd be super confused. They'd be like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
If any of you in YouTube land have not seen Critical Role's
Vox Machina.
Vox
Watch it.
Machina. It is freaking hilarious.
But I'm pretty sure if they're watching this, 9 chances out of 10, or 10 chances out of 10, they've already seen Critical Role and most likely have watched Vox Machina. But if you have not seen Vox Machina and you watch Critical Role, I highly recommend it.
Reverse versus this license.
Vice versa.
And since it's been brought to light on me, speaking of doing talk shows and behind the scenes and all that, there's at least 2 of them that I know from Critical Role. Now there's Between the Sheets, which really does sound.
Sounds like something Noel would very much
There's
enjoy.
also the 4-sided dive. I would definitely recommend.
That also
watching
sounds
those.
like something Noel would enjoy.
All
How long
right,
do we have?
let's
we're
go with
about-
you for about how you feel about this campaign so far.
We're about halfway there on the upload.
Upload.
40.
What are we gonna ask while we're live and waiting? Because if you want everybody to see up on the live and not live.
So, well, let's keep up with the question we already asked so far, or is what we thought, we thought of the campaign thus far.
Oh goodness.
That would be useful.
So, me,
Yes, you.
yeah. So, I have to agree with what you said, Viking, and with what Pork Chop said as well. Well, the way it started out, I'm sitting there going, "You've got to be kidding me! Like, this is ridiculous." Like we were sitting here or just going back and forth, and I'm like, this campaign is going to drag on. Now that we've done the one crossover, we've done we did the crossover, we did some other stuff in the event, and it's like, I'm not gonna lie, watching Pork Chop's first character get attacked by a door and a broom.
I
What was
remember
the
that.
funniest thing? If
Wasn't
we can
funny.
unanimously say what was the funniest thing?
Well,
you
I
got
heard about
attacked
it
by?
afterwards, so it was funny.
The broom.
The broom.
Really? The broom of
Yeah.
all things.
We messaged you so long about the broom, and you tried making a running joke too. Like, we would take videos of seeing a broom and then running away and sending it to each other.
There are so many of those videos in the group chat. Like, I can't even tell you how many we've done. And I know Viking did one. Frank did it twice.
Frank's was great.
What, the one in the cooler?
Yes.
Didn't you do one in my house?
I did one here and I did one at work.
We need to pull those off of the group chat and put them on search phone.
Yes.
Those need
We
Well,
gotta make sure it's in understanding context too. Because then everybody like,
so. For those.
I'm still scared of rooms. Scared of rooms, and every time I walk up to a door, the only thing that pops into my head is "Don't be a mimic.
Don't be
Yeah,
a mimic.
Don't
we
be
are
a
trying to
mimic,
sell
don't
them
be
into
a mimic.
Roombas because they're not. But somebody, not saying the cat, a Roomba is a robotic broom, and now he's thinking Sipanak is a broom. So now he's afraid of it, and it doesn't go near them.
I don't like Warforgers anymore because of the cat. Thanks, cat.
I have to agree. I think that had to be the funniest moment next to Sanctuary. I fucked up as he's running away after the kid misty stepped back to the house and up the stairs. Because I honestly thought we were all screwed that episode, and then it just turned into a comic bit.
We need another shirt idea. It says, "Be out in 5 seconds or less."
Or I'm burning the
Else,
place. ...
On the back, you know those like the meme where they have like the sunglasses, and you just see him walking away, and the house is on fire.
It's 5 minutes.
Or
You got 5 minutes.
You guys got 5 minutes.
Or it's a little girl.
put that face, replace it with yours.
Yeah. You know the cat that's in the chair? Just have it be that cat with the house on fire in the background.
I mean the dog. This is fine.
No.
Yeah.
Like the little girl who has the evil looking face, but the house is on fire. Like there's police and stuff everywhere behind her. Instead of have that background, but the cat that sits at the table with the face.
Yeah, that was definitely interesting. That's for sure.
Oh, that was hilarious, but by far.
And then the
Listen,
house gets on fire with no other help than your character prior. And you're like, I was just trying to help. We said 5 minutes. I thought you guys were outside, but no, we went upstairs.
listen, honestly,
Listen, and I think if we didn't go up them stairs and we lit that thing on fire.
We would have killed children.
we'd have killed 3 kids, man.
We couldn't do that.
And that was Augustus saying that. You imagine if Noella would have been there at that time?
All
Bro, from there on out,
right, hey, I'm going to hold that question because I want Scuba on this one. And I'll ask it. I'm going to put this out there now. Also, you guys can and Stu on this one. If you had the character that you had now at the start of the campaign, how differently would you have done things?
I still want to lit the house on fire.
You're still the same
I
character.
can answer that.
Yeah,
I would have
because you two can answer that. Pork Chop can answer that, and I can also answer that because
my
I play.
character is now reset to being 2 years old. I can't answer that like fire. Words.
Woo, fire.
So where's Daddy go? Can I go upstairs? I go upstairs.
Hey, look, there's mom.
I wonder what they taste like.
Hey, look, there's mom. Well, kind of mom.
Mom got angry. I think she's angry again.
Like, someone find another goat.
Where's the white juice you're drinking, Mommy? Is that Kool-Aid? No, it's the blood of the innocents. That sounds very spicy.
No, it's the blood of evil, darling.
Oh, God.
Listen, I'm sorry. Whenever I murdered,
Bubble,
Whatever,
bubble is on you.
whenever I murdered Tyler's goat, yeah, that was not one of my.
So, for those of you that are wondering what Pork Chop's talking about,
brightest moment. Well, that wasn't my clericaliest moment. I guess.
You weren't clarifying anything.
Yeah.
to be fair, you were not also in the D20 Misfits at that time. You had jumped over in the crossover her storyline for Vulcan Adventures.
Also, and to be fair again, the only reason why I murdered his goat is because I knew that my ass was starting to get hungry, and I was around some people that I did not know. What is so funny about me saying murder the goat? Oh, for God's sake.
Your ass was
Yeah, that's a long story that y'all ain't gonna hear. But yeah, literally. I knew that I was going to get I was getting hungry.
Oh, she was.
And I was trying to not eat people I didn't know.
That's good practice. Very safe.
Indeed. That would have been a bad time.
You're not supposed to go after their goats, sir.
You've been looking a little sheepish.
You know all about safe practices.
I would have been good for that. Man, we stayed steady on 3 viewers, so that's kind of cool.
Probably because they're watching us.
It's that, well, at this point in time, they have to be laughing. And if they're not, well.
If you ain't laughing at some of the shit I say, you ain't got a sense of humor. Humor? I said humor. You got a sense of humor. How much further we got till we can get back to the bitter patters?
In about 3 seconds.
1, 2, 3.
That's not what I meant, you smart ass son of a bitch.
Timber, who's the first Tyrannitum or whatever that says?
I do not know.
I was the first Tyrannitum. Whatever the hell it says.
I gotta tell you about this thing that Leah did today. She confused the Dairy Queen workers because she kept calling it a meanie. She was calling it a meanie. And she wanted a mini ice cream. And she's like, I want the smallest one. And they're like, what? She's like, the meanie. And they're
Oh,
like, what
no.
is that? And they're like, The mini.
Recording in progress.
Okay, we're back live here on Zoom again. And for those of you that missed it, we started going into what my thoughts of the storyline as Tyler and Scoop are jumping back in. But my thought process on the storyline was that I have to agree with what Viking said as well as Pork Chop, that when we first started this, I was like, oh, good grief, this is going to take forever, or this, that, and another thing. And then we had the door incident, the broom incident, and the suit of armor incident. And I know I did not say those in the right order, to the point that we all ended up, the broom one has to be the funniest one. Unanimously, we all agreed that, correct, that the broom was the funniest out of all that.
Yep, we all just think it's hilarious, especially me. Ha 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 ha.
She got taken down.
3 times.
Yeah, because I was Augustus.
Well, I mean, if you were Noella, she wouldn't have mind being shafted at that point.
Thanks, appreciate that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
I don't know, you got all wood up.
It was more than you could handle.
And I want to thank Noelle for just confessing that she was the murderer of my goats.
Oh, we were just talking about that.
She was hungry for your goat, all right.
We were just talking about that during the break.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. What was her name again? Amber. Don't worry.
Pretty fucking tasty.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes, he is.
All right, can we start with the bad jokes, please?
All right, Tyler. So when we left off, as Simonax also joining back in, the question we left off on was, what have you thought of the campaign thus far? Because I know before you joined up, you were following along with us.
Somewhat. As soon as I had the idea, as soon as Frank told me the idea that my character might be coming in, I did not watch the rest of the episodes where I got up to, only because for the mindset of my character, I wanted to know as much information as he knew. That way I could be more invested into the player. Now, for the overall session, honestly, it's a little bit similar to Icewind Dale, more than most people think. So, again, for what I left out of Icewind Dale, for that point, I just knew that the best way to, the only things I knew how to do at that moment, because we didn't get to the main quest line for the campaign itself, was basically do what we need to do and try to survive most of the time. And we dealt with all sorts of stuff. We dealt with a town that after party got into some altercations, the town was freezing for death. So yeah, it was a lovely place, cold and painful. But overall, for this campaign, I have a much more darker tone feeling coming on to him, especially since what happened when the first session he was introduced with a very fantastic lore outside the door. So it really adds to him, he's coming from one place that has a lot of dark mood, death, and it's very cold. And you only did different gears, a couple more mosquitoes, and you have no idea where you are.
Fair enough. So that leads me to another question that I came up with, and this is gonna be the last one, and that's gonna be player to player. And before we get into the actual questions, oh darn! And I just forgot of the question I even came up with.
That means
Oh man! So
you'll come back to
It-
you can always go back to it.
oh, I remember what it was now. No, because some of us have changed characters since this campaign started, myself included. So this one's for everybody that's had a different character or so far. If you if you had the character you started with,
Oh no! I'll break the constellation.
if you had the character that you're playing now to start with, would some of the stuff you have done be different?
Yeah.
No.
You were like, you were in our campaign for 3 days. And
No. I wouldn't be able to do anything differently. Either I'd be Favela, no, or no, who's that? I don't like him. Find out later. Oh my god, why'd they make me do that? I'm sorry. Why do you hate me?
hey, I feel like you're starting to throw a little shade here.
I'm throwing shade.
Shameless plug. Hey, but I feel like you're trying to get at something here.
No,
because
it's just
Noella
like
may
if she
or may
doesn't know
not.
what it is, and someone just like say there's a river and there's fish in there, and she likes cats. Oh, there's cats in there, but they're in the bottom of the water, and you know how to breathe underwater. You know what she's gonna do? She's gonna believe you. She has the mindset of a 2-year-old. Bye.
I was going to say because Noella is not steering you wrong at all as of
Right.
recently. Okay,
So far.
Noella is keeping you on the straight and narrow path, and Sib and I can agree
That path
to
is very narrow.
Dick balls.
Dick balls.
Sibanak does not agree.
No, because if you say something, he gives you that look, like the dad look, like right on my dick.
No, it's literally the parent thing to where like the one parent gets the kid to do something messed up, and then the other one's like, "Stop bird."
Hey, Dad, look, there's a bird. Yeah, it's cardinal. What do it taste like?
Yeah,
Don't eat the bird.
That's pretty much
you have
no
Noella
right
go and
now.
eat it. Go eat it. Is it?
And then
a orange
she-
bird?
Then the problem is she's sitting there like the cat smiling that ate the canary.
Yeah, it's because she doesn't know any. She doesn't know right from wrong, and
That's the
Noella
farmer's chicken. Oh, that's a
and Noella's kind of a vindictive cunt, so she's going to do vindictive cunt things.
No,
I mean,
you're not.
Hey, we're back. We're up to 6 there for a hot second.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. I'm not agree again.
Oh well.
You dropped this.
You dropped. You said the C word,
I
and
hit him with the hard T. That's what it was. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys.
anyway, but
Go ahead. You say
Yeah.
your piece to it. If you would do the same, I'll say mine.
honestly, I don't know if I would do anything different, and because actually, you know what? Yeah, I would do stuff differently because
Like not attack your own party members.
yeah,
Yeah. got it.
That would be a good
unlike
start.
unlike when Vikings told me to shoot my arrow at him so we could get the mass burst on all the creatures. He would have rather have taken the one hit where we were going to hit everybody. Now that one I was a little conflicted with this character. Or
You were still learning as well. Whatever has the moral of not trusting the party and what actually meant by not trusting the parties. And we should go over here. You're like, you're gonna send me over Rainbow and Sunshines, whereas rain over here, and that could probably be the right way to go. I don't trust it. Over because it's different when you make new contact laws and to how to play it and how it
Right.
work. To where you don't trust people, I'm gonna attack you because you're right there. You're kind of cannon fodder, man. And you're like you were trying to learn the actual meaning between how you
Right.
play trust and not.
right now, the other thing with that would have been was what the hell? Oh, damn cats! The other thing with that is a good example. Well, if,
She is hanging like a chandelier.
Bad Zeor. Bad Zeor. Sit down, Zeor. Bad.
no, that was
Okay, is this starting to catastrophe here?
no, that was Zio Junior.
There are no kids in that curtain.
Where's the spray bottle? Son of a bitch. Zero. Back. Yeah.
Hang on, I got it.
Anyway, so as I'm trying to say,
Ow.
good example. We'll go back to the windmill. When I help Z or start lighting the windmill on fire.
Oh, no.
What the baking powder was and what's in baking powder?
Yeah, I found out that did not come from artificial babies.
Organic, baby.
That's one of the most fucked up things that has,
Children in there.
out of everything in this campaign that has been messed up, whoever wrote that segment is a seriously deranged individual.
But it messes with the
But
brain, that's the
you have to
difference.
admit that was when I said that at because we found on the powder stuff in there, and I blurted out, "Oh, excuse me, sir, is this powder made from organic or artificial babies?" And it made the whole party lose their mind.
Yeah, you have a good joke every.
And that's why they called it the bone grinder.
But it was hilarious at the time, and I have to.
For that newborn stuff.
Guess what? You too can be as soft as a baby's bottom.
No. Oh man. But
I hate to be a Gerber baby at this point.
So
Oh.
yeah, there's a track, and there's on it.
I tried.
well, this segment just went off track. Worst of I can't
You
even
can't
say.
get it out.
That's usually the problem.
You know, we know you've had that problem before, Noella. Well, this went off track act faster, or the Joe Biden speech when he doesn't need a teleprompter.
He's a
Political man.
We don't do political stuff.
You're in trouble.
Oh, my bad.
Frank hates you. All right, Joe, come on.
All right. Anyway, hey, but what I've done, I'd probably done things a little bit differently. Instead of staying downstairs with Z or it'll start lighting the house on fire, I'd have probably ended up running upstairs with you guys.
We could have barricaded the top, and then they would have had to go one by one. Start like chucking things from the stairs. Oh, no, they disappeared and operated up top, didn't they?
Yeah.
Then you go down the stairs, they'd all been on top.
They literally disappeared from there and then
As
reappeared
unfortunate-
down there with us.
As unfortunate as it was, oddly, at least for the roles and the story factor, being that Noella and I think it was Augustus that made it out. Augustus went down,
I barely paid him out.
and then he died. And then Havela went down with the kids, and with enough charisma got them to not be scared of her. And she was pulling the pretty much almost dead Sibinek with her and getting them to the woodlines and finds the dark elf while everybody else downstairs dying. I wonder if it would have been a TPK. Because if we did it any differently, like that is always rattled my head. I don't know about you guys.
Like that's crossed my mind, but at the same time, I've thought two different Ryo and Sapphirus are two different characters that have two different styles. Well, is it different flaws, different bonds, and but it's that stuck with me either as well. Would we have gotten a TPK, or would we have actually survived that? Would we?
Well, if we
What-
never made it out the window, you guys were down there, and I think he threw that help. I mean, you still might have helped us at the end and be like, all right, you guys, let's go.
Because think about it with Ryo being able to summon a dragon, Drake, whatever. He goes like that. Drake pops up, hits the hags. Who says we don't make it out of there, or the Drake takes one of the children out of there.
Well, with the level that we were, I don't know. The witches knocked you guys down really fast, and you guys were doing as good as you could for the level we were. Because the level we are now, we took the level we were. It seems like it played well with, like a lot of times we do with our dice. It seems like it's going the way it does at times for the story. But as you said with your character, when they're built differently, that is the beauty and simplicity as well as the good mechanic work for your characters. to build someone different, whether it's class, race, flaws, gifts, patrons, gods, whatever, to do something new. So you're learning a new class and you're learning to play your character, but you're doing someone new and not acting like you were before. That's where it comes in the difficulty and the flow.
Now that leads me to Noella on this one, and
All right, so in all actuality, this is more than likely where Noella's game. I mean, it won't be Noella, whoever you want to say at this point in time. Honestly, I'm glad that I wasn't Noella at that point in time. Because at that point in time, Augustus did have his morals in line, I guess you could say. But he also really didn't give too much of a shit. Augustus didn't care about hardly anything. I didn't care who I stole off of, anything about along that lines. I could have stole candy straight off a child, wouldn't give a shit.
this is true too.
But he still had the morals of, you know, I don't care if this makes Z mad. I don't care if this makes Cypress mad. I'm going to try to save these kids, even if it has to do with, you know, I'm going to die doing so. I'm still going to do it. Now,
Went out in a blaze of glory.
yeah, that's the reason why I'm happy that I wasn't Noella at that point in time. Because at that point in time, if I was Noella and I had the morals that I have now and the outlooks on life that I have now, I would despise Z. I really would.
Augustus had what, something along the lines of did with the dissociative identity disorder. Because you're multiple parts, multiple people, you had a literal Frankenstein-like character.
Right.
So you had the mentality of every part. So you literally had the good, the bad, and the ugly.
That's why whenever Noella met Cypress, that's why I didn't like you. I didn't like you at all because, like, I heard about the story and stuff like that. And at that time, I wasn't what you would consider very fond of Z. I didn't dislike him, but I'd never seen Z hurt his party members. So I did see you do it, and I also heard the stories of you helped set a place on fire with kids in it and stuff like that. So I was like, man, I really fucking hate this guy. And I literally, there was a couple times that Noella had to fight with herself because Noella, being the vindictive bad word that she is, she didn't want to heal you at all. There's a lot of times where Noella was like, I'm just going to let him drop. And I've actually believed that I've even struck you once because of you hitting the party.
I think it was once.
I think you did it actually.
Just slap across the face.
No,
Nothing was
No, it was a
fire.
spell.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I was gonna say, hey, it was worse than it.
It wouldn't have been you because the first time was the ice daggers in the house. The second time would have been when we were all attacked. Well, not me, but some guys outside would be the tent.
And then-
Okay, now in my defense, that was an accident because I wasn't expecting the dagger to come back at us.
Well, yeah, but like I said though, like yes, honestly, it would have been different if I was the character I was now. If I would have seen Z do something like that, I would have thought completely different of him for a long time until he, you know,
Proved otherwise.
Yeah, proved otherwise.
Okay, so before we get into the next segment, my question for you is, what did Z do to change Noella's
Oh,
before the last episode?
Before the last episode.
wow! Wow, that was a good one. I'm not gonna lie.
That is a very, very valid question. Honestly, to tell you the complete honest truth, the reason why Noella respects you so much now is because of the time where I unwillingly went into a bloodlust. And I told you beforehand, because I'm more worried about my party and the people that I'm around. I told you beforehand, if that happens, I want you to kill me. Whenever it came down to it, you tried. You did try. You tried to rectify the situation, basically. And I found that that was very noble of you, and it made me respect you for knowing that in the situation of a very hard time, you could look out for somebody else that wasn't yourself. Because for a while, I thought you were selfish. I really did. And especially with the kids and stuff like that. I thought you were just selfish as hell. And then seeing that you were going to take me out to preserve the rest of everybody else plus yourself, it showed me that you weren't selfish. You weren't a selfish person. And also, the time that you tried to kill yourself. It made me see that Big Billy.
Which time? There's been multiple.
I think it'll be the first time with the casket thing.
Yeah. Big Billy Badass Z, who, the week this and don't do that, week blah, 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 which was completely the opposite of my morals and my outlook on life. It made me realize that there is something about you that gives they give a shit. You know what I mean? You do care. You're just too much of a Billy Badass to show that you care.
Noella wants to protect that part as well.
Exactly. And I just want to I want to be there for Z because Z was there for me. And that's why I love Z.
Aww.
All right. Hey, I was wondering if something like that was going to get brought up, and that was a real good question there, Viking, and just as good of an answer or their pork chop as well. Oh, so now we're going to move into the next segment, and it's probably going to go into part 3 as well. Oh, throwing shade. So this is going to be questions for everyone on here, and if you got guys in YouTube also have any questions, please don't be afraid to chime in. So we're going to start off with this one. This one's for everybody.
It's a laser pointer.
Ready? So, here's the question, and for you guys, is what inspired you to create your character or characters?
Let's start with ladies.
Yep. So we'll start over.
Okay. Make my character is my last character, Augustus, was he was kind of an ass. Not gonna lie. He didn't care about hardly anything. He just was kind of out for himself and was pretty selfish. And
I was gonna say you were trying to be the get rich quick.
yeah, basically, I was the get rich quick dead guy.
What inspired you to make that? Like, was it just on the whim to see what you could do with that kind of character?
I originally wanted to play Augustus because it sounded cool, honestly, to be an undead or a reborn or whatever it's called. It sounded cool. To be a rogue, I wanted to try out the aspect of sneaky, help out the party with checking for traps, blah, 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 blah. But just Augustus happened to meet his untimely demise because he couldn't keep his big ass mouth shut.
Yeah.
Neither can Noella. So what's the difference?
We could just say that Strawn's other job is chiropractor. He just did a little too well with that.
Right. Yeah. So Strahd was practicing chiropractor at that time. Not very well, by the way.
I mean, we can't.
He needed a break. Augustus definitely needed a break, and
Yep.
he got it.
Yep.
Yeah, he stuck his neck.
I was gonna say he hit a little bit of a kink in his neck, but
Yeah. But to make Noella, which is literally the complete polar opposite of what Porkchop was, 100%. Porkchop was, I'm in the fight. I caused the fight. I am the fight. Here I am. I'm big, beefy, broody. I'm going to fight you. To making Noella, which is like, play in the background, stay at a distance, be there for the support and all that. That's the reason why I wanted to do it. Our party did not have a healer. We did not. And clearly, as you've seen in recent videos or videos since Noella has been around, we absolutely needed one. So that is honestly the reason why I did it. Plus, like I said, it is fun to be kind of the bad guy sometimes. but there's always got to be a silver lining at the end of every rain cloud, and I figured, hell, it might as well be that.
All right. And so, that was Noella's answer. Moving on, keeping it going around on the table. Well, Viking, how'd you come up with Zior?
And just talking with Frank, I was like, man, coming back into this, the party needs somebody with the expertise of undead. Somebody who's fought undead before, knows what to look for and things like that. As for the race, wanted something different. You know, everybody plays human-like creatures. The one goblin.
I mean, we have a goblin. We have
Now yeah, but at the beginning, a lot of human-like creatures.
Yeah.
You can even consider Warforged technically a humanoid.
Yeah, because I mean, Sapris was a halfling.
So something different, just with the race, you know, basically random create. But as for the Blood Hunter aspect, you know, previous character, Eldritch Knight, Paladin, multi-class. Balverix was there to command the battlefield. That's what that build was all about. That's what an Eldritch Knight does. They're there to command the battlefield. The Paladin aspect just works really well with it. And I'm pretty sure I built a very broken character.
Oh no, that thing was broken to hell and back, dude. I'm sorry, but there's
So
yes to both.
Coming into this campaign, you know, playing Zior is a whole new learning curve for me. I don't really know how to play the Blood Hunter that well, so I'm still learning it. But the party at the time, like, the party needed a cleric. We needed a healer. The party at the time, and still does, very much need an expert on fae, fiends, undead, things like that. So that's kind of why I went with the Blood Hunter class.
Makes sense. Now, I'll not to get off topic for this segment, but this is a question I'm going to ask you because I've seen it happen with several of our characters over the last campaign. Is there a possibility you end up cross-classing in this one?
I've thought about it because if you look at the Blood Hunter, it's very much for a lack of a better term, a Witcher. The only thing it does not have is spells like a Witcher does in the books from, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I'm going to butcher it, but the author who wrote them, the TV show, the video games, when Geralt uses Igni and all that.
Right. So
there's a possibility I might multi-class, but at the same time,
you lose out on some stuff.
The Blood Hunter at levels gets really, really nasty. Like immunity to poisons. I can't be poisoned at all. Mutagens have different effects. Like I can drink one, expel it, and not have to drink another. It's already in my bloodstream. Things like that. So the Blood Hunter at in levels gets really nasty. Now, will he be around that long? Who knows? I mean, see, this is true. Using the winged boots and deactivating the drop down and take out things.
Those were some clever ones.
I mean, Zior's dropped, what, 5-6 times already in this campaign?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been really interesting on how that's been played out.
So, to wrap up the answer to your question, it's going to be a we'll see.
All right, fair enough. So, got the 10-minute warning coming up on here. So, we'll go around on, and then we'll pick back up in the second part of it, or in the next segment. But for now, all moving on. And next up on the list here would be Shot. Hey, so
Well, being I thought that was fun, but I did not know what characters to make at all. And honestly, I collaborate that with Steven, who played Simonak, because he kind of didn't know what to make. Everybody else had characters, and I'm like, what do you want to do? Because I was just going to collaborate with someone else. I'll collaborate, and everybody else got theirs done. And he was taking Minotaur, he got that shot down, so he's like, I'll do a Warforged. I'm like, okay. I can either have a character that follows around and is a artificer, and I made you so that way no one questions it, or you have a battle buddy or something that uses you as a golem whenever people question about it, but you're not a golem, you're an actual thinking thing. But the more and more I thought about it, I didn't want to be a human. Done humans, I've done elves. I want to try something different to see if I can live through it and not kill for it. So I was like, why not try something the size of a child and be a golem? Pass it off as a child half the time whenever I can, and I've never played barbarian ever. I've done rogues, rangers, sorcerers. I like the distance. Never gone in close combat. Not even video games where they have the ability to do that. I'm always the long range fighter. Always. So I tried something different. I like the barbarian, especially the way my barbarian is. Wild Surge.
Was.
For now, don't get. Listen.
Spoilers.
Yes.
Listen, we will beat Puck. I'm gonna have to watch both of your butts, make sure one doesn't die, so I just watch the other one drop dead. And I get my memory back, which, if I get my memory back, there's a possibility of either being a barbarian or a monk, which monk, oh my god, the headache half the time.
It's also coming with learning it, though.
It is, but trying to get used to all the key things and key points and everything, it's a little, yeah.
It's a little chaotic. That, believe me.
But as for the cross-classing, I have done my research, and it can be done to do the barbarian / monk, but it is even bigger headache than doing monk. So, if I have a choice, I will probably go back. I will probably go back to being a barbarian.
Puppy monkey baby?
Keep the chain and sickle. So I'll still be that if I can get to be with him. But
No, you finished.
I was just gonna say that I definitely prefer the barbarian.
To backtrack a little bit, when I was talking about Frank was creating a character, I did let the dice decide originally. And the first character was a Damphere who fed off psionic energy and was a ethereal being from another realm trapped in the human body. I was like, I basically created Cthulhu. He said, no, you're not doing that. No. We're not going to have a character in the party who is actually more powerful than the boss is of this campaign. No.
Well, I mean, to be fair, hold on. To be fair, Viking, in your defense, you did that in the last campaign because, let's be honest, Balverix was more powerful than the last boss.
But
well, let's look. Dealt damage, Archon the Destroyer. Who else did he freaking destroy? The Beholder. Destroyed the Beholder.
I think us three were the most OP last server because if I say Tristana, she could nuke a town if she wanted to with Fireball because she had the Draconic Rage. You were a raging behemoth, and he was a paladin of fucking epic proportions. So if we teamed that up, I pretty much nuked Acer at the one time whenever he was at the ceremony. So, yeah.
Which, to me, is still hilarious to this day.
I miss playing her. I really want to be a sorcerer.
You had a whole bag full of heads. Your bag of holding was filled with nothing but heads.
And now you have to deal.
And then, I come along.
Gee, I wonder where you...
The only person in the entire game to drop him.
She learned from you before you became evil.
Yeah.
Some backstory.
he will probably watch it after we get it all done. He probably will. Let's be honest.
Yeah. To be fair, he'll probably end up watching this afterwards. But
just to talk about dropping him, we did calculate the damage afterwards. That one attack roll with the 3 nat 20s did more damage than his entire health.
Jeez.
That would have been a critical.
So we're gonna move on to Arian now. Also,
This is gonna be super quick, considering the fact that I only have 2 characters. One of them I literally pulled out of my butt. So I had to.
I mean, yeah. To be fair.
Okay, so the way I came up with Mystic is when I was introduced. Whenever you told me, "Hey, I'm thinking about bringing you into my D&D character campaign because I need more characters," I was like, "Sure." I immediately knew I wanted to do dragons. I love dragons. I'm obsessed with shiny things. I vibe with a dragon very, very much.
You literally fit the role of Dragonborn.
I was like doing a Dragonborn, and I found this very specific snake. Now, I really, really like holographic things. And if you don't know what a holographic thing, it's literally something that shifts the entire rainbow spectrum. Well, there is a snake that is black, but in sunlight it turns the rainbow shift colors. So I was like, okay, I'll base my dragon off of this snake. That's why her last name was Xenopeltis, because that was the scientific name of the snake. So I made this character and I was like, okay, this was really cool. I'm gonna put a lot of time and effort into it. I might be playing it for a while. I would like to see where I can go with her. But at the same time, I had a whole backstory for her. I was like, she's a dragon that's been under this mountain for centuries. Her family got killed by the frost giants, and that's why she's trying to go after them. They're holding a shiny thing, and she wants that too, which is another reason why she's doing stuff. We never got to explain it, but she was also a criminal. She sold her dragon gems and stuff on the black market in an attempt to get other shiny things to increase her hoard. What was it? It was mining stuff under the thing before the cold.
Oh,
the dwarves or something.
The elves and dwarves.
Yeah.
But then the kobolds took it over.
Yes. So the elves and dwarves were mining stuff for her. She had employed them for years and years and years to make her money so that she could buy things and to get information for her so that she could steal other things. And then the kobolds came in while she was gone, and literally as she came back, they were taking them out. She was like, okay, well, what you guys doing? So that was pretty much where I was going with that character. Is there was another element to her that I didn't get to introduce yet. And then I had like a couple other different things. But then my character got nuked in the one shot. So I came up with Carmine. Carmine is a beetle that is known for producing red pigment. And the character that I currently have's hair is red. So I was like, okay, I'm going to name her Carmine because it's a red pigment.
All right, fair enough.
I was like,
yep.
I got a monk hobgoblin, and that one wasn't. And hobgoblin.
Yep. So that wasn't less than a minute to go here on Zoom. We come back. Tyler, Scoob, and myself will go over our characters. For those of you that are on YouTube, or if I don't know if Pork Chop, you still running the TikTok stream there?
Yeah, I'm on my TikTok. I have 0 people because nobody likes me.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Everybody loves me.
No, I was gonna say, hey, for anybody that's over there, Eric can still follow us on those.
You guys have any questions? Now it's time. Well,
So here, I'll ask this question, and we can even talk about it later. Where do you think the things go from here?
Hopefully
no
not,
shit.
Hopefully not down.
I feel we're about to walk the threshold of hell.
We already have eyes on us because it's literally instead of that song, she knows, instead it's he knows because we lit the beacon. How else are we gonna light the beacon? With the skull. Where we get the skull from? Boba tea lasagna.
Boba Fett lasagna.
The freaking grave was desecrated where he launched that there, and even if we say, well, Puck took it, we gave it to us, just keep telling that, then he's not gonna believe it. We at least for now believes that Puck killed her, but we stole a skull and desecrated her grave. Even though I wonder if we could have just left something. We could have left his sister's heads there and be like, yeah.
Surprise! These bitches is dead too.
To be fair, do we really care about Scott?
No, but it keeps him on our back for a little bit, and maybe he'll kill Puck instead, and the contract is finite, and all the souls are free, and I get my number back out of nowhere. It's a Christmas miracle.
Honestly,
I don't know.
To answer your question, I think where we are heading next, I think Fit is about to hit the sham.
We were heading to the Abbey next. That was the plan.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
he has Esmeralda.
yeah, because I know Strahd is definitely 135% not happy about what's going on right now at this present point in time. He's absolutely not happy with me because I'm fighting tooth and nail for, pun wise there, fighting tooth and nail to oppose the problems that he has made. And also, I'm using the problem that he made for the betterment. I've literally done things to use the power that he gave me for the bad to turn them around and make them good. So,
yeah, I mean,
probably not happy about that.
And you know what? I'm gonna say that is I'm surprised in some of the stuff that you have pulled this far.
Oh yeah.
Like
In other words, correct.
Yeah, pretty much.
But no, I totally agree. There is some things that I'm very shocked that I actually pulled off in this campaign. Very much so. Especially silver tonguing the shit out of him.
Frank says he wants to jump in. Jump up.
Jump on it. But as far as that, I mean, okay, it's literally Strahd has literally given me the what's that word called? The metaphorical knife to literally his mother with. Okay.
I was gonna say he literally gave you the smoking gun.
Yeah. Like he was like, oh well, I'm gonna bestow this curse upon you and this and that and da 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 da. Okay, that's cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I literally used the curse that he bestowed upon me to, unalive Mommy Dearest.
And listen, the way you played the silver tongue devil there, you were literally sitting there or looking like the cat that ate the canary.
I don't know what happened.
You know what would have been really bad is the plan I originally had, but I wasn't able to roll the dice because technically I would have had the window and the time to do it, but because conversations can't overlap during an actual session compared to what would have happened in real life during the game, is before you drink the vial, Avila was planning already to snatch it and gulp it and look at you and be like, now what? You can't have the cleric. She would have had the curse, plus the wild surge, plus a rage. You have a little thing with vice-like teeth.
That would have been a ticking time bomb.
I know. You would have had rage plus vampiric rage, plus already sharp teeth growing sharper as the fangs. You would have had no. That was originally the plan because this way the cleric is not my chemical cleric.
But it's
chemical
such
cleric?
a good.
My chemical cleric.
Why does they make this stuff?
Listen, you are a cleric. You need to make sure we solve the morning populace.
Yeah, but now I'm a great cleric.
Yeah, it's even.
Which I don't know what's worse: the fact that you're a grave cleric, or the fact that you're able to be a nightmare monster at the same time. Or my favorite one is when you end up looking like the change of heart card.
Yeah, I was giving it some serious thought about dressing up for this, and I was literally going to do half my face been like contact and stuff, but I decided not.
A question and I lost it. Thanks. You had the same problem now as guys. I literally had a really good question that could be asked later, and it just as soon as it's getting ready to come out,
I hate that. I literally like.
I was legitimately about to ask it, and it disappeared. Like it was at the tip of the tongue and just went.
Tip your tongue back of your lung.
Tip your tongue back your lung, didn't
What
come
is
off
our
the face
percentage,
all the
sir?
that.
Was it?
What is our percentage?
60.
We're all outside.
Go right ahead. It's oh.
Play the Pink Panther music. I love everybody here. Oh, I'm sorry, Suki. I didn't realize you were there.
Stupid kitty.
I can't even sneak like him because I have
You
to go
stepped
across
on
the-
Zior's cousin.
No.
Hey, you leave Montezio's children alone, okay?
And now I get a hug from you.
Listen, I am surprised that he's been behaved as well as he has. I'm waiting for something to get knocked across the table.
Because I got 3 new lipsticks today.
I haven't thrown anything yet. That's the real surprise.
This is also true. The fact that none of that has happened is what is surprising to me. What the? What is going on?
Well, I'm sneaking outside.
I know you are.
I rolled a 5, so you know I'm going outside.
Oh, she's dropping the squishmallow on my head.
You rolled 5 on stealth.
We actually have a question.
Oh, wait, I'll come back. What's the question?
So it says, I know that one of the players mentioned they were from Icewind Dale. So what if the entire party ended up playing as Icewind Dale for a good couple of sessions?
How deep is the snow in Icewind Dale? And do I have to pull a what's his name, the comedian? Put a giant flag on my back, like I'm 3 foot tall goblin. How high is the snow? Just watch from the track, right into a wall.
Honestly, to answer that
No,
question,
you'd have been literally. I think I know what you're talking about. What's the
Brad? No.
Brad Williams?
Yeah, I
Had to strap a little flag to your back.
oh, the little, yeah, I know you're talking about that.
That's what I was asking. I don't want to have to trail and hit a rock.
I personally myself wouldn't like that. I really don't.
Well, you actually played one session in Icewind
Jumping
Dale.
into Icewind Dale for you guys was like, it was cool. I just,
Maybe Ella didn't like going into Christmas Town. It was cold and she didn't like it. I don't think she'd like Icewind Dale.
well, Noella sure as hell didn't like yelling there either. You remember what Noella constantly wears?
Yeah.
Noella's always in a corset.
I'm in mostly like kind of cloth and bindings.
Corsets keep you warmer.
But yeah, that's about all she had on.
Yeah, but it's literally just a corset and then like a skirt. That's it. That's 90% of what Noella wears.
And then like you had like them arm guards.
Well, now it's completely different because it
Yeah.
went from like the red and black corset to just black everything in a cloak. So,
But that is an interesting question. I wish we had Frank on here for that one.
literally my chemical color.
Yeah. But yeah, in all seriousness, I kind of wish we had Frank here for that one because that is actually a pretty good question. I'm not gonna lie. So that is a question for the DM, and I will make sure he gets that question because if you notice in the background, Icewind Dale is sitting on the ledge along with all the other books that I currently own. I don't have all of them. I'm not Frank. As we're almost ready to get back on there, or I'm at 80%.
I need you to move, honey.
But
What?
Your wife's calling you.
What? For me?
Yes. But yeah. But yeah, I will definitely make sure he gets that one. That was actually a pretty good question. But I will make sure Frank gets that question. What about you, Z? Or how much of a different thing would it have been for you?
From where my character's from originally, God. I think that'd be a hard change of pace for him to acclimate to that type of climate.
What is fluffy?
He's a keeper.
He's also from the island of Cholt, which is a very tropical, humid place.
There's a tropical kitty?
Yeah. He's a kitty from the island.
Noella has some real fucked up stuff to say. But keep my mouth shut.
Oh man, that's
Now the previous character from Lyrics would have had no issue there.
Oh, hell no.
Being a silver dragonborn, ice, yeah, no problem.
Oh, Frank has hijacked the chat.
Oh no. Everybody run.
How has Frank hijacked the chat?
We're all in
Because
trouble.
I just looked in the chat and it says, "Hi guys," and I wasn't the one typing. So either we got a ghost or Frank is chat.
He's listening.
So Frank is watching us on the live?
Yep.
Oh.
So Frank, if you can see the chat,
He could probably
Please.
hear it too on the screen.
I know that's true. If you can see the question above, I don't know if you can see it or not. If not, I will send it to you later. Yep, that one.
God has not entered the chat.
I don't know.
Frank has.
God is here.
Try went back outside.
She's like, I'm leaving.
I need to Frank.
But yeah, Frank has hijacked our chat. And anyway, continuing on, and I'm not sure how Ryo would do up there. I think he'd probably fare about as well as anyone else. I mean, along with the party that they had already had. I mean, technically they already had 2 other Rangers in the party at that point in time, and because that was my campaign, so you have 3 of them. You have 3 long range guys, a healer, and 2 guys that were up close and personal.
But I'm assuming at this point that the entire party would be transported as they are to Icewind Dale,
So
not the party that we already were.
I like how Frank put it in the chat. He said, and it would be like going from one hell to another. Yeah, it's just that hell's frozen over.
That's Michigan every year.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
Yeah, it's
If I could, I'd give you inspiration for that.
it's definitely not something that I would enjoy.
To be fair, though, we would have access to a lot of funds if my character remembered anything, because
Recording in progress.
As we're back here on Zoom now.
that's
Oh.
where her horn is.
I couldn't acquire any items from my character because Puck has it all. So if we beat Puck, if I can get my money back.
Oh yeah, you were loaded, and so as Tyler's jumped back in,
At that point in my character, where I was like, oh,
There's
I have
Scoob.
access to a lot of- I have access to a lot
Hello.
of money. And I was like, wait.
as we have
I can't use
Scoob
it
back as well,
because we're not there.
and Frank should be also joining us here in a second, and on Zoom. But as we left off before, or the break for the actual video, the question was how did you come up with your character, or what inspired you to create your character or characters? So Scoob, I know you're working on limited time, so I will let you take the floor on this one. And how'd you come up with the character?
So right, so as sort of what Shai mentioned there, I had no clue what I was going to do. I created characters, uncreated characters, changed, like probably went through every single thing, just trying to learn about each class or each race before I, would make a decision. I had a few in mind. I wanted to be like a Minotaur was like my first go-to. And after talking through with the DM there, it was like, that's not really going to work with the setting. So we're like, all right, let's go back to the drawing board for, I don't know, 4th or 5th time now. And finally decided that Warforged would be pretty cool. And like I said, after collabing with Shai, then a little bit with Sway there, with his character Noella and her original character Havela, coming up with a backstory between the three of us knowing each other and stuff like that. It's just, went with that. But I honestly didn't have a clue what I was going to do. Still definitely in the developments of Sivanak. So I'm learning with the campaign about what I'm actually doing with this character. So, but I definitely wanted something different than what I sort of went with last campaign. I was more of like stand in the back, try and throw some, spells and not die. Yeah. And now it's like, let's head straight in. Let's head straight in and let's just get this battle over with, because I got another battle that I need to devour afterwards. So, yeah, that's basically where I'm at with that.
All right, fair enough. So as we switch over to gallery view here, as you notice, as a 4th member has now joined the screen here as the DM Frank has now joined the chat, as he kind of hijacked the chat on YouTube there for a moment. If you're, for those of you who are following over there, but Frank, welcome to the show. Oh, it's been quite an interesting one, and I'm hearing from a few different ones. And even J Root was on in the chat for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so far been in a very good one. And the question that we're on right now is what inspired the players to create their character or characters. Kind of went through everyone. Now we're just getting over to Tyler and Scoob and myself. So now all jumping down to Tyler. So we're going to ask you what made you pick the what inspired you to come up with the character you are now?
Now, unlike the rest of it, I have very, very limited number of races I could choose from, since I started in an Icewind Dale campaign. So I didn't have like a Warforged option, Goblin, Minotaur, Lithog. I didn't have those options. I had a very limited amount of races. Either I go for a race that is built for the cold, like Life, or a Dragonborn that resistance to cold, like White or Silver, or a race that's from the original 10 towns, like a Halfling, Human, Elf, Dwarf. I was limited to those races. Now, just crafting my character ready for the session without knowing that, I actually want to go. I wanted to actually go for like albino lizardfolk, because I always fascinated by that race because they're going to survive, and being Druid, one of my favorite classes I got to play with, I wanted to do a very good build on a Druid. But since the lizardfolk wasn't an option, the closest thing I could come up with was a Silver Dragonborn, which is what we have now with Eivor.
Fair enough. As switching back to gallery mode here. So I guess that leaves just me now. We're on my second character, with Ryo, who after playing Sapphirus, I kind of went with something similar to what you did, Viking. However, I did not come up with something that was more OP than the big boss at the end. That's literally how I came up with Sapphirus. Was I really didn't know what to go with. I kind of perused the list of what we had so far with the players. So we had your original character, Pork Chop, up with Augustus being a rogue. We had the Barbarian.
Well, actually, I think your character was going on because we were still wondering.
I think we were all working on ours about the same time because we're.
Yeah, you're right. Because you made one.
Yeah, and I was like, I didn't like how that one turned out. I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try something different, and I turned around and went to the. I went with the Druid. The Circle of Stars, just to try something different. And you have to admit, the Wild Shape was actually pretty cool. Whenever I did use that for a while. I mean, there was a couple different ones that I wasn't sure about. All like I thought about doing something as a heavy hitter. Like I thought, okay, let's go Paladin, and I want to try to just go Paladin straight out. All, and I'm like, nah. That's where I was at, and that's why I went through like I played 20 characters and made so many, and then I could tell all the things were going sour with Sapphirus real quick, and I'm like, okay, let's change it up, and that's when I elected to literally write off Sapphirus, and unfortunately that came back to bite us in the butt later on.
Everywhere you go, we're able to see a break in the files. We know where you are.
Yep. Yeah. Well played. But it was literally one of those things I could tell the party was not. Either the party was going to kill Sapphirus or Strahd was, so evidently both happened. But Ryo, I actually sat and looked into stuff. As soon as I got my hands on the copy of Fizbit, which is sitting over behind Shy and Viking, other side. As for those of you who can see it on YouTube, the camera's facing on me. As I'll switch it over to Shy, and that's when I found the Ranger, and I was like, you know what? We don't really have any like range fighter classes. Like we have Zior who goes up, Zior or Simonak and Avela that goes in the battle and starts swinging for the fences. Noella's our healer. We don't have anybody that's really in the back. I mean, yeah, Sapphirus was there, but let's be honest.
He made bad decisions.
Yeah. So I brought it in Ryo, and it turned out to be the better of the two choices. And man, I think he's probably, especially the fight you and I ended up fighting, and where literally it was me and Simonak. So going back a couple episodes to when we were at the Wizards of Wine, the rest of the party fell. However, the Drake, Simonak, and myself all got through enough of the bad guys that we healed Noella, who ended up healing Zior, who healed old Havela, and then wiped out the entire party. And you want to talk about throwing a monkey wrench in Frank's plans? That was one of them. And it was definitely an interesting time for that. And I will say, I'm glad I took a gamble on Ryo, and I think going forward, it's going to be interesting to see how he builds. I've thought about cross-classing with him into either Ranger or Rogue, but at the same time, I've looked at what. Yeah, that was episode. No,
She was close to dropping, and they did mass cure wounds.
That's right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was before I didn't draw.
I thought you did, Ed, because I remember I used cure wounds at the same time.
No, I didn't. I never dropped in that fight because I originally started off that fight acting like an ass.
And as remember, that was the one you guys big booted me down on the slide, and then went, "This is Sparta."
Like,
But regardless, that was how that went, and
face first full of splinters.
Yeah. But regardless, it was still a good fight. I think we all had fun with that one, especially when it came to Toner Monkey Wrench and Frank's plans for that night, because I honestly think he was expecting a TPK.
I don't know if he expected TPK, but I know he was for sure expecting to.
He's giving me the.
Yeah, he was expecting to give us a run for our money, but he wasn't expecting us. He probably wasn't expecting it to happen about the same way that happened always. You know, all of us.
Well, I think he knew it was going to be a challenge fight, but I don't think he was expecting it to turn the way it did.
He wasn't expecting it to turn fast the way it did.
Yeah, because it went from 0 to 100 real quick.
Yeah.
Now that being said, Ed, Frank has said he's going to answer the questions that was asked in the chat. So I'm going to give that to Frank. I don't know if you saw the chat, Frank. We also have another question, so we'll do one at a time. So we'll start with the Icewind Dale question that was asked earlier on the chat.
And that's the one that would have been. That's the one of what would happen if the players were to go to Icewind, right?
It says if the players were sent to Icewind Dale for a couple of sessions.
Well, I mean, honestly, they'd be trading one hell for another, because not only do you have Imbrovia, you have Strahd and his minions. So you have Baba Lazada, you have Winter Splinter, you have the Ember Temple, you have the the hags. You have that. Yes, you have a cloudy environment that doesn't have any sunlight, and it's raining most of the time. But then you're trading it to a frozen tundra, to where there's 10 towns in one that make up one gigantic city. And as soon as you step out of that, it's the frozen tundra. It's not the jungles of Chult. It's not the woods of Barovia. It is a frozen tundra, to where not only there's no Strahd, but there's some close enough to it. And now Frost Maiden, and then whether or not you dealt with the Frost Maiden, you had to deal with Icewind herself. And I think that would be a suicide mission. Icewind would drop. I mean, it's an ancient white dragon at what, 5th level you guys were when that even started the crossover? Maybe. I mean, if by the random encounters, if we were to do, if Icewind were to show up, it would have been a run and hide in whatever of the frozen tundras around us. That would hurt. And that would probably end a couple lives.
And not only that, you also have to remember, or being outside. And I have to agree with something that Tyler said earlier. The fact that the Icewind Dale and Curse of Strahd are very similar in a lot of ways. Like the fog.
Uh-huh.
If you end up in the fog too long, you have to make a Constitution saving throw. Now, the fog is only in certain places.
I think it's the same way either way.
Yeah.
The
Because
Tundra is the same way, right? It's a Constitution saving throw.
for every hour you're out there, you have to make a Constitution
And then
saving throw.
It's the same thing for the fog, and then even I believe they're the same way too. Is if
1
you
point of
fail,
exhaustion.
it's 1 point. It's 1 point of exhaustion either way. So that's very similar. But again, party didn't have gear to go out in the tundra. I mean, like John was saying before, I mean, you have a tropical character that hails from a tropical island going in from, you're taking literally somebody from Africa and putting them in Antarctica. They won't survive. It's a culture shock. They're in their DNA.
Exactly. Like, so
to say Zior did do that, he'd probably have to roll that Constitution saving throw with this disadvantage every freaking time.
I would say that absolutely.
even with the cold
With the
gear,
weekends. Yes and no, because, yes, I would still say it would have been because the cold gear is tailored to the 3 different races that are within Iceland. That's what likes 4 races. A Tabaxi or a Leonin is not one of them, so it's not tailored to them. I mean, the closest one would be an elf and would be too small for them. Elves run maybe 6 feet. Then your dwarves are 5 feet, 4 feet. Your halflings are half that size. I mean, they're 4 to 3. And then, humans are average sized people. So a Leonin who's almost 7 foot is not. There's not going to be. It has to be tailored to them, and it's not. They don't have the money or the time to do it. Right. I mean, it's going to be time. It's going to be a long time for them to tailor something of that because, I mean, how do they get there first? They have to go out into the wilderness and collect them for the trade markets. I mean, the ships only go every other month or whatever to bring in new goods to trade out for. I mean, the shipping charts are very few and far in between from import to export.
Right.
I mean, there's no wizards. I mean, the only wizards that are there that remotely would have a shop is tailored only to them, only to a small degree. So you're not going to find the magical items to help you. You're not going to find a ring of cold resistance or a ring of fire resistance that's going to help you.
Actually, I'm going to play spoiler for you, Frank. There was a ring of cold resistance and a ring of warmth in 10 towns that my party never found. And it was in one of the towns that they did go to. So I'm going to let that one stew with Tyler and Arian.
I think you did before we moved over. I think you did tell us that.
But you couldn't find it in a shop.
Nope, there was a specific person that they had to go find it that had to give it to them.
Yeah, but that would be the point. You have to find it in a shop.
Also, it did not help that for every 100 people that was in the town, Olm would determine how many magical items were in town.
Right. I mean, that's few and far in between. So, I mean, if anything, it will hamper your hell a lot just to go in there. I mean, his chances of survival are very, very slim for it. I mean, even some of the other races would get by, but then again, nobody would know of them. Like, they wouldn't have seen a Warforged before. They wouldn't have seen a orc now. I mean, goblins are not part of it. There's no goblins there.
Right.
I mean, the closest to the Yeti, I mean, they definitely would never see a Leon, so they'd be cast in 10 towns.
Right.
that would hurt the party. I mean, it's just like Barovia. Barovia is the same way. I mean, it tailors to dwarves, to I think it's dwarves, elves, and humans. I think it's more humans and elves than anything is the main people of Barovia. So even anybody that's not a humanoid class is an outcast.
What was the Constitution saving for survival?
What, for Icewind and Barovia?
I will tell you because I have that on my DM screen.
Oh, also, Steven says that the video was messing up a little bit. He couldn't hear anyone, but he said, sorry for cutting it short. Hope the rest of the show goes well. Y'all look awesome.
I don't know what my DM screen would. But if I remember correctly, the Constitution saving throw for being out there was a 13.
With disadvantage, I rolled a fucking 8.
So that'd have been 1 point of exhaustion right off the bat.
I think it's the same either way, too, for the fog. I think the fog's DC is about 12 to 13. I believe, don't hold me to it. I don't know off the top of my head, but I want to say it's almost exactly the same. So either which way, I mean, there's fog. And the same thing with the tundra. It's just you have to stay on the path. If you stray off that path, take a shortcut through the woods or whatever, that's when the fog's going to get you, and that's what's going to hurt. Other than that, it's a different ball game. You know what I mean? I mean, the tundra, you're out there. As long as you're out there, you're going to have to make a save. If it's somewhere else, then it's a different aspect. You know what I mean? If you stray off the path and go into the woods of Barovia, you have to make that.
Right. So, moving on as I jump back to gallery mode here. Here as Scoob jumps back in as well, all after having some technical difficulties. So this question goes to Uzior and Noella.
Oh, God.
Oh,
there we go.
This is a fan question.
Should we get real, like...
We know... Hang on, I gotta switch camera views for that. Is there something going on that we need to know about?
That's all Noella.
Okay. To be fair, Noella likes to mess
What
around
is
a lot,
love?
like, not in that way.
Baby, don't hurt me.
It's not that Noella likes to mess around in a, like, mess around type way. But it's a lot of trying to bring light to dark situations. With just losing Pavela, which is like a very, very big turning point in Noella's life, seeing Z be the way that he is now, with being the socially awkward and, being very shy and basically skittish as hell about things, I've taken a big liking to him. And literally, like Shad has just said, I find it cute. I find it adorable that he's like that.
At least it's not an actual door.
I love the fact that whenever he wants to say something, it pulls me to the side. That's fucking adorable. It's cute as hell. I love it. So with him doing that, yes, there is somewhat of something that Noella is pushing towards, but it's not really along that line. I really, really enjoy messing with you because it is a blast. But to be completely honest and to be completely fair with it, Noella has lost her actual child at one point in time. So to make up for that child, it was Avela. That's why I loved Avela like she was my daughter. Novella's husband, she no longer has anymore because of some crazy shit that happened. So she actually looks towards Sivanak as the person that she would have a interest in that way of the question was directed towards Z. Now, with that being said, the only reason why Noella doesn't really push the issue with Sivanak is because Noella feels that Sivanak absolutely is hiding some feelings from him. Absolutely. But, hey, if I can't have Sivanak, I'll take Cat. I'm cool with that.
Which is why when we open the door and Nall is just like, that's my mommy, that's my daddy. Why does mommy kissing my brother? What's going on, close to dad? You're just like, why are you looking at me like that? Not your actual mom.
Because Sivanak, even though he's big, tough, Mr. Beefy, Broody Sivanak, definitely, I feel as if he absolutely is harboring some feelings towards Noella. Don't know if that's completely true, there, Sivanak, but if you feel like speaking your piece, you absolutely can.
Careful with that cute stuff though, because that's how I got with Timber. I started messing with him, and then I was like, oh no, he's cute. Oh no, he's cute! Ah!
Insert the Squidward little clip. Oh no, he's hot!
Oh no, he's hot!
Yeah,
that was pretty good, not gonna lie.
Pretty much.
Thank you. I'm here all night.
So Sivanak,
with that.
Sivanak, darling, is there anything you'd like to share?
Well, you see, throughout most of the campaign, with Sivanak being a Warforged, emotion was like, so he could pick up on emotional cues, but feeling them himself was like, there wasn't really any of that. The only thing he knew was, the fight and to protect those that were fighting alongside of him. So like a push towards a romantic relationship it didn't, or any type of more intimate wasn't a thought process. Now, since the change to a half orc, coming back, okay, so he's dealing with all these new emotions and feelings that he, on the other hand, he just didn't exist before that crossover there. So there's definitely more of I care more for these people, and I understand now why I care. So when it comes to Noella, yes, there's this long history. So there's definitely he cares for her and doesn't want anything to happen, especially now after losing Havela. It's like, all right, we've got this deal with Puck that like we can't go down. Like, I gotta protect you, I gotta protect me, I gotta get Havela back. Like, there's all these I just got mission after mission, fight after fight to go. So exploring emotions is still like a fresh process. So we don't know what exactly could be in store, but there's definitely he does care for Noella, doesn't want anything bad to happen, kind of a little irritated at her with this, last episode with some of the choices she made. So I would say there's deeper feelings, because why else would he be irritated over choices if there was no reason to, care? There's a difference between having a fighting, your comrades, than there is the whole, I got friends and like understand why I have friends now, and, more complex feelings with them.
was gonna say, you know what he's good for causing right now? Emotional damage.
No, I mean literally.
Couldn't resist.
Literally, what Sevenak's saying to me right now, I'm gonna take that shot.
You left me off going upstairs while sitting there watching you go up.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And
cuddle
you
with
locked
him in
lips
that too.
with the kitty cat.
And cuddle with him in that too.
The emotionally awkward.
Or is fucking confused as hell right now.
I can't wait for him to wake up and to roll over and be nose to nose with Noella.
You're gonna do the whole flirting, getting attached, and then it's the oh no, he's cute, I like him. Who do I choose? Sivanak's finally showing feelings, but I just cuddled him. Now he likes me, and I don't want to like ruin this squishmallow and turn him into an even sadder squishmallow. But Sivanak, but Zior, oh fuck.
Oh no!
You take the whole
D&D's going to turn into a love triangle.
Oh boy.
Shit! Hey, we're in 2022. We can have an open relationship. Just saying.
All right, dude.
Reverse harem.
All right, as we are under 10 minutes before or the Zoom session ends.
Horchup's just gonna start collecting men, and she's gonna have a castle at the end of.
She's gonna have her own army.
Hey.
She's just gonna have a bunch of dudes.
My original character in the last campaign has his own army, so just saying, if Noella ends up with her own army of dudes, I don't want to hear shit about it.
All right, so on that note, we're gonna move on to the next question, and this should be an interesting one. And Frank, I want to see your answer for this too. What's been your most memorable moment of this campaign, and why? No, that has to be the funniest one of the campaign so far.
Most memorable moment, man, that is so hard to say. By the way, is just because I have the strongest bond with these two characters. I think this has to be my most memorable moment. Is whenever I mean, whenever it happened just recently, it's still fresh in the back of my memory holes. Whenever
some of that could be the memory banks.
Noella decided that we're at Babushka Lasagna's house. I'm going to save this child that's inside. I don't care who I piss off. I'm going to go inside. Walk in, and of course, who is the two that follows me? My trusty two that I have the biggest bond with. My daughter and my soon-to-be ex-husband. So shit goes to shit. Things turn kind of bad. I can just imagine Sivanak's face right now. He's probably like, "Oh,
he has got a shitty grin on his face. Meanwhile, on the other screen, Frank is just shaking his head like, "Yep, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him next session."
But you know, shit starts to go down. I start to lose my temper and start running off in my mouth. Surprising, shocking, because that's not.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Noella never decides to run her mouth or anything. Promise, guys, I'm an angel.
Okay.
Get it? Asmir, whatever. You'll like it. You don't do that. I remember getting extremely pissed off. Started talking as much shit as I possibly could about murdering Babushka Lasagna's kids. And literally, without even planning this at all, me, Sivanak, and Kavela at the exact same time pull out.
I was pretty much the doll. He reached into my bag that was.
I pulled up.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys did that while she was pretty much like a doll playing with a baby doll.
At the same exact time, we all three pull out heads of the three hags that got murdered, which instantly pissed her off to no point. So that had to be probably my favorite part. Like, that right there is literally one of those times where Noella really wanted to look at Sivanak and be like, "God, you're hot." Just because of how that happened. Like, we read each other's minds so well right there.
Like, listen, I would have loved if that would have ended up being like a Vox Machina episode. Just where the three of you just pull the heads up, and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah, but it also led to one of the very first oh crap moments because you watched her like and Vela pretty much just went like this with the dagger and it broke
Hey, I mean, everybody always hollers at Noella for running her mouth and always says that Noella needs to shut up more often. But in that sense, in that circumstance at least, me running off with my mouth was the best thing for her because it broke the connection that she had on Avila. So,
I mean, fair enough.
there's times that it's good for me to run my face. And that was one of them.
All right, so that leads me to the next one on Viking. You've had some good ones.
It goes back to the sanctuary.
And we've talked.
And the reason being is it's not just because of the line, it's the lead up to the line.
Oh, yeah. That was pure gold.
Oh.
Okay.
Pure gold.
You have a 6'8" Leonin in spiked leather armor. I have to roll sneak with disadvantage. This whole time, middle of the day, clad in all black, you just see this cat sneaking around. Passes every perception check against everything with like a 24.
Well, no, remember
No, it was a 23 because it was a nat 20 plus 3.
Well, let's not forget you rolled a 9. You're like, yeah, there's no way I'm stealthing, and the guy I rolled a 1 on perception.
So I get up to him, doesn't expect a thing. Attack this 17-year-old or 18-year-old Victor. I need the necklace. I'm sorry, and starts Hulkbuster punching him in the head, going, "Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep." And when he missed, he steps away.
That's where Z's pants in the back actually got a lot wider. It was a solid ball of shit that came out at that point in time.
Which we ended up getting the best line of the campaign so far.
He just takes off through the middle of town, freaking out, kicks in the door
of the Blue Water
Inn, screaming, "Sanctuary, I am fucked up," and beelines upstairs.
I'm sorry, that was one of the best lines that have come out of this. We're under a minute, so we're gonna pause right here. We're gonna keep things rolling on the YouTube live, so that we'll keep things rolling over there. We come back, we'll finish this question, but enjoy our in between video. Yeah. The goofiness in between. So we'll be right back after this where we'll get the rest of the party's answers.
Good night, y'all.
See you, Scoob.
I love you.
Love you, bro. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah, I don't know.
So anyway, continuing on, folks. Well, here, I'll ask this question. And what's been some of the funniest things that have been said, whether it was in character or just at the session?
Listen, I honestly, that is a very, very, very loaded question. Like, that is an extremely loaded
We
question.
remember half the things. The only thing I can answer is all the jokes I've heard from her. Anytime something came up,
I will say we have had some very questionable jokes.
Oh, yeah.
As players, but they fit so well inside the story that you can't help but laugh at it. The baby powder, your racial profiling of Strahd.
I forgot about that one, honestly.
Your freaking
oh god.
You've made so many, it's even hard to count.
That's my character. That's why it's like, well, everybody's making jokes because we, as our, players, are always telling jokes. My character was literally built on making puns and jokes, and it's just become a thing now. But with her past, a lot of times people even say the most depressed people, no one's picked up on this, the most depressed people are usually the ones making the best jokes and the being funny. And Havela deep down is morbidly, horrendously, and scarishly depressed. Like, it is like borderline depression, like into the dark side of depression, but she's not going to hurt depression.
Right.
Steve's jokes about
The fucking control rod.
the control
Yeah,
rod, the
yeah.
cat jokes.
Made a few about Sapphiris.
I think that was like me and him were tag teaming that.
Yeah.
He'd say half, and I'd say half, and then he'd go control rod with her, and then we'd talk catnip with him, and he was a new.
Yeah.
You've had a couple of good ones too. A couple.
Yeah.
I've had a
Very
couple of
good
good ones, but they've not been through my character.
You guys
Like
all
I do
go for
remember
my
the
flip
one
jokes.
thing I said that freaking Viking got up from the table. It's like I can't anymore. That was what, like 2 weeks ago.
Something like
It
that.
takes a lot for me to just get up and walk
No,
away.
my favorite one has to be E when the flump came out. We said, "And what the flump is going on?" Or we changed your line to "Sanctuary, I flumped up."
Yeah, because you guys put them up too. My lovely little.
Oh, lovely
Check
lady
it out.
That's right. I remember that one.
Because I think I started the jokes out with it's flump time or something, or time to get flumped, and then it blew up. And it's like a spirit out of the chapel.
And then we looked it up.
And it looks like the flying spaghetti monster.
It really does.
It looks like something cute had sex with a beholder somehow and lived, and there's a flump.
That was literally your favorite thing to send out too, was the flump.
Oh yeah,
'Cause there was a lot-
It's creepier than sending out a little pixie like. Someone tries to kill it before it blows up. They get to this point, boom.
But so the question is, if the pixie blows up, does it become pixie dust?
I should have used that with the witches. Oh, you like baby powder? I got pixie dust.
So that leads into, what was your most favorite, memorable moment so far?
There's so
Oh, she's laughing, which is a scary thing.
Without anyone saying anything, it's pretty much him overdosing on freaking overdosing on mutagens, and she's like, someone has something that has to come out. I know what to do. Gets ready to put her finger down his throat and almost back away, and before the finger's pretty much like.
Blech.
yeah, that was
I don't want to be here no more.
that was flumped up.
There's a rat that crawls out of her head. You just see this. Oh, how's it still alive? Sloth.
That was when me and Simonac just showed up, and we're like, "What the hell happened?"
Didn't show up. You were still at the tavern because it was that.
I thought that was at the tavern.
No, she got thrown up on at the manor.
That's
Or it was
right,
just me
because
and
we.
him that saw Strahd, and as soon as we're making it over, and she is dragging his knocked out body to there, she can't get the door open, so she pushes him through the door hole, and she's like, "It's the door." He's spins around and just looks.
We were all like, "What happened?"
And just goes to Noelle and goes,
Didn't I pass out drunk that night?
Yes.
"Yeah."
I thought so.
And then woke up
You
sober
look
enough that you realize
definitely
because of the
drunk.
smell.
And you're like, what is that?
Yeah, so they're like, what's all over you? Groot.
Everywhere I went, you just hear
Then I pass
Also-
out.
Still in her bag, too.
Then I
it.
pass
Oh
out.
my
Next
god,
thing
it's
you know,
been
you
what?
cuddle with me.
A month?
At least.
So a month worth of almost shook it all the way out. Cat vomit
Chunks.
chunks and all that. Plus the eyeballs she collected from the watering trough.
The two heads.
The two witches' heads.
The thing's head.
No, the tree person's head, the witch's head with the knocked unicorn one improvised from her.
I thought.
And then the hand. I have a hand in there too. We have just figured out something, by the way.
We're just missing another hand and a couple of feet, and we'll be able to build a goblin.
I think I've come up with why she does that, and it's now going to be in game. You know where she learned that from?
Where?
You know, we're all not from here, right?
Right.
Oh, God.
She learned from someone that upon her travels to be a better barbarian before they went evil. To be a stronger barbarian and start noticing the what's the you take things. Yeah, you're a klepto of stealing stuff. So you showed her your ward, and it's just like, well, that's kind of cool. And doesn't remember because when you get transported somewhere else, she kind of lost a few members. She's an involuntary klepto of body parts now because of pork chop.
I'd also like to mention the fact that we've been streaming on consecutively on YouTube for about 2.5 hours now.
Yeah.
I was a few seconds. It was a little late getting started when we started this whole thing up, but
yeah, pork chop really enjoyed. I
can't tell you how much shit you stole.
It's not my fault. I had a problem.
Motherfucker, you had the most gold. Next to me, you had the most weapons. No, I take that back. Belvarix had the most weapons next to me.
Remember whenever
No?
I slightly handed something off Belvarix one time too. I can't remember what it was.
And then Belvarix slightly handed something into Draven's pocket.
The deck of many.
No, the first item. Whenever everybody was going to Team of Annihilation.
Oh, yeah.
I did the deck of many outcomes or whatever else.
Deck of many things.
Yeah, I slightly handed that from.
I had it, and you slightly handed it from me.
Yeah.
But yeah, if
and then you gave it the scoop.
Have to be between that and the pull string on the heart. That's still going to be there, and it's always going to be that memorable thing.
Well, yeah, but I thought we were going off of like
just in general,
memorable like happiness. Like that was the cat yak for you for sure. But if it was like if you meant like memorable altogether, it was absolutely bad, bawling my eyes out. That was absolutely.
That is replacing the rule of door closing. I really wish there was.
Well, I wish this question would have been more specific. I guess I should have said on this campaign. And,
we did, yeah. But I'm just saying, on the heartstring pull.
Oh yeah.
Before anything else happened was definitely last campaign with Rue, and they didn't realize. There he goes. You're like, it was 2 seconds earlier. We wouldn't have done that, and now he's coming.
If we were going off of for this campaign, memorable, like just memorable, like altogether good and bad, it would have to be the heartstrings one. But if it was going off of good, it was absolutely the pulling the heads out thing because that was awesome. That was literally the coolest thing that I've seen in this campaign.
I've also got a feeling that this question if we do this again, definitely needs to be revisited because we're going to make more memories. This module itself is rather short compared to others.
Frank just chimed in on the chat. He said that he's got several of them. One that sticks out all that is the Burgermeister's son, and they're holding hands. And then and whenever we lit the beacon, the show there's some hope for
and he just says the positive way is all as well.
I can honestly say that before the extremely tragic crying aspect of Avela and whatnot, that had to be the most touching, heartwarming thing fucking ever.
And you saved them both.
And then, like, I literally almost killed my actual character self to make that happen. I would have literally spent my entire existence to make that happen, for them to come back to life.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Here's another one he also just said. The other would be the hags beating them the first time, showing them that this is going to be a hard road. As some fights you ought to learn to run from.
Yeah, I mean, if Noella would have been there at that point in time, it may have been a different story. Maybe.
Which is what we
yeah.
We talked about that earlier too. About how
I agree with you on that one, Frank. There's a lot of them on that one.
I feel though, as I was saying that right now that's what we can say is that's the most memorable moments. But I feel as we get further into this campaign, there's going to be a lot more. So
I agree.
If we do this again, this is definitely a question we need to save.
Yeah, I don't. thus far, I'd say we've touched on a lot of them. Another one I'd say is the Wizards of Wine. The battle with Sapris.
Yeah,
And-
the shooting star.
Yeah, and no, I'm not going to say that part. Or it's the fact of the matter of I had to deal with. It's like Frankenstein. And I've created a monster. Or I mean, I know. Yeah, Strahd had his hand in on that.
But the surprise
Welcome
the surprise of
Recording in progress.
back here on Zoom for the full video. Bringing up one of mine, and as Tyler has now also entered the group, and Frank should be joining us back here any moment now. Okay.
But I think
All right,
that
so I
to
think he's
touch
just
on
going
that
to come through the video.
surprise with that, we definitely not only did we fight this enemy, he's a strong MF, but we're gonna try to take him out. And when we did, to reveal an Iron Maiden Sapris, and that's where the Iron Maiden came from. That's what your fate turned into, and you were pretty much a puppet for Strahd until we beat you. And
Right,
pretty
and
much said,
for those of you that are getting caught up on the video here, we're referring to some of our most memorable moments. This one being mine was when I had to face off my old character Sapris, literally dealing with my own creation. But it was how it played up to it. It was, we knew who it was, but we weren't sure because they kept saying, "I know who, but we couldn't tell because he still had the helmet on."
Yeah.
And then what happened next is when he teleported you, Noella, off the battlefield, and then that really made things interesting. And then you're fighting to try to get back. Meanwhile, Zior and I are literally fighting tooth and nail. Oh, because I know Zior was down for that one, and because of Strahd, and Havela is there.
No, that was after.
Was after?
I was dropped during the fight.
No,
Okay.
Because it started out with, "I know you," and he didn't seem to want to fight me at first, but he's kind of like, "But I have to." Didn't know who Noella was, so struck at her.
That's a good one.
I knew him. I just didn't know him very well. The only thing I knew of him was the fact that he used to make stupid decisions, and that's why I
We
didn't
had
like him.
Sapphires who were well.
Yeah, that's what I said. I knew her or knew him.
Real quick before we get on, moving on with that story there. Frank said, and here's two more for you. The Raven Queen stepping in a couple episodes ago.
We talked about that.
Yep. And even Strahd's Castle and leaving in the four old dragons and stopping them.
Yeah, the dragons. That was pretty cool. I do agree with that. But yeah, we already touched on the aspect of
The Raven Queen.
The Raven Queen and whatnot. I mean, we didn't really get into detail, so you people can go back and watch it or rewatch it. Yeah, that was definitely that was something else.
And that one wasn't that long ago. That was what, 2-3 episodes ago?
Yeah, something like that. That's whenever Noella had a absolute change of heart and went from being a
Frank, that's pretty much the same thing.
to a great player. What?
Havela's last minutes with the group.
Yeah, we were.
That's the same.
I wonder with what he means with Havela's last moments before she changed.
That's an interesting turn of events there.
Whenever he got back to the topic the next time we came in, compared to what he said was he just changed her. What originally happened was she was standing there staring at everybody else, and Pop went behind her and pretty much had a dagger and held her, pretty much like she was a hostage, and like, okay, we're gonna change you. it looked like he was gonna kill her, and everybody's just like, "Oh crap, what's happening?" And then he's like, "Let's try this."
Now, see, with that being said, I actually, if you don't mind, Timber, I want to hijack your show for a second.
Uh-oh.
Because Noella and Porkchop, we have kind of a really big question. And I'm not trying to come off as the mean Noella. I'm trying to come off as the confused, concerned, and slightly feels rather jaded about something. Eivor,
I had a feeling I know what the question is.
well, you more than likely do.
Hang on, let me switch to gallery mode so both screens are up for this.
You more than likely do know the question. But I'm going to ask it anyway. Whenever you were told that you could change the fate of yourself or somebody else in your party, you were specifically told that you could change your fate or somebody else in your party. What was the reasoning behind it that you decided to save yourself, knowing that you were not going to die? You just decided to save yourself. You decided to self-preserve yourself.
Well, actually, during then, I really, like, at that moment, I thought, like, I don't know if I'm correct or not, but I thought that the option was to change the fate regarding changing our form, as in, like, changing the race. And I thought about it for a moment, like, if I was in my shoe, like, I can understand, like, the form change is going to last for a long time, but memories can come back over time. And again, I thought at that moment, the fate change, it only affected the form of changing. Like, you can prevent your form from being changed. And I thought that remember where the outcome was, our memories of the three players would still have been affected. So there you ask the question, what would you rather be like? Would you have your memory still but in a different body? Or would you have your same body but have no idea of your past?
All right. Because the way that Noella is looking at the situation right now is trust betrayed. You have absolutely, in her eyes, you have betrayed my trust, and you have betrayed me and Havela and Sibanak, and that is two people that I absolutely cared about with every extent of my entire existence. And like, this isn't between me and you, so don't think that I hate you for it or anything.
It's between the character and character.
Right. It's literally character to character. So, like, the way that Noella's looking at it is honestly that you were very cowardly. And instead of helping somebody in your party that you clearly seen had the like a very big toll and very big tone upon me and Sibanak with losing her, with you not deciding to use the gift that you were given to save her and save yourself, it makes me look at you more along the lines of you will turn your back on us because you didn't give everything that you could have given to help somebody else. Because, like I've already previously said, with my character, I literally was going to lay my life 100% down, 100% on the line to save Victor and what's her name?
Oh, jeez.
I can't remember her name, but
His fiance.
yeah, his fiance. I was absolutely going to lay my life down for both of them. So to me, in gameplay, I just feel as if you didn't stand up for the right cause.
That can be understandable, and in a sense, or my character, practically, you're the only person that he actually knows. Like, the rest of the party practically is strangers. So he, like, not being there for long, he may not have picked up that emotional bond just yet. And he also and in another respect, he had to worry about his Albert Cup, which I actually will correct. Avar was actually orphaned as a child. He never knew who his parents was. And during the Astrodome campaign, he found the Albert Cub in his situation as an orphan, with the Albert Cub's mother actually dead due to cold. So as part of the mindset, he knew that he needed to do what he can just to protect someone he actually knows well, someone he knows about heart, which practically the Albert Cub is almost like his son in a sense.
And Avela was like my daughter. So, as of honest to God, like, not trying to be that person, but as of right now, you're on some pretty thin ice with Noella.
All right.
Well, what kind of thin ice? Like ice vanilla thin ice or like Antarctica thin ice?
He got you there. Anyway, a question from the DM. He said, "What about the most fearful moment so far where you felt your character's death was coming?"
Oh, I can easily answer this, especially with last session, because when it started bit me, I was paralyzed and incapacitated for an hour at first. And my Albert Cup, he was already being attacked by one of the spiders. And since I saw like the majority of the party started to go outside in a way, I kind of okay. My character and my Albert Cup might be dying here today. They might be dying now. Because it was not looking pretty good at first. It really wasn't.
Right. So we're going to jump over to Arian real quick because we forgot her on the last question.
We can get back to that question.
But I'll let you do the double. We'll give you a double dose on this one.
Okay.
And so your most memorable moment of the campaign so far, whether you're playing or you've listened for most of it, and the question I just asked, when did you feel like character was?
Okay. Well, memorable moments for me are the lake part with Noella, because I was literally like, guys, sus.
Oh.
This is extremely sus. There was definitely when the boss got nuked right after I passed out, and I did my first saving throw, and I passed my first saving throw, and then the boss got nuked, so I couldn't do my other two, and so I ended up dying because fucking nuked the boss. Like, why couldn't you nuke it before I passed out, man?
Just how
Why didn't you use that earlier?
That's how the cookie rolls.
Because I have never played a cleric at all. And forgetting about
it looks, no,
it's not. Divine intervention, you have to roll below your level. So, you roll your percentile die, and you can it's 0 to 100.
Uh-huh.
So you literally got less than, at the time, a 10% chance of rolling anything under a 10.
And you rolled all zeros.
Yes.
Which was amazing.
And then I was mad after that because I was like, I got nuked for no reason, and I didn't even get to revive my character.
Yep.
And then of course there's the introduction of my new one, who's like,
what?
What is going on? Because I just came out of nowhere.
That's not spicy.
I don't want to hear this from the man who could eat like freaking ghost pepper chilies. No problem. I really, really don't, because I'm sure if I put that in my face, I would literally.
Squirrel went up a tree.
Anyway, sorry. Yeah. But those are pretty much the memorable moments for me. I don't have too many of them because most of the time I was busy trying to figure out what it was that I was going to do. So I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Does it make sense for me to do this thing? No. Okay, we're going to do something else. And then most of the would-be memorable parts I wasn't able to see.
Like your character,
Like even as someone that was watching and listening in the background. Because I can't tell you how many episodes that you're sitting in the background playing the puzzle and we just see your head pop up randomly.
Yeah, I do make some pretty good side comments.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on, still with the same question. We'll move over the shot.
Oh, wait, what was the other question?
When did you feel like your character's death was?
When Frank messaged me and was like, "Hey, I need you to roll," and I was like, "No! What about my saves?" And I was like, "Crap! Oh no, this must mean I'm dead." And I was like, "Okay, well, I rolled the saving throws for no reason, I guess. This is what we're doing now." So that's when I felt my character's death was upon her. Is when I got messaged, "Hey, you need to roll." Okay.
Sorry, not to be on topic, but he's got the hot ones sauce chips with it like halfway up the pepper level, and he just it made the tip of my tongue just with one chip.
She's scarred.
It was hot. I like the flavor, but it's hot.
I don't know. Drink some ranch. It's fine. I have sour cream and should you need it.
It kicked off with
I know you're fine,
my bone grinder when I'm climbing down a place, bleeding out and going like this, leading kids to the woods and dragging Sipanak with me while I'm half alive, and seeing Strahd's right-hand man thinking it's just some guy in the woods like, "Hey, we need help." And yeah, dude, that was him.
Yeah, you do.
And I guess the other time was when Frank was like, as soon as the yes part happened, I was like, "Oh, this would be kind of cool, you know? The Vela as a soul knight. How cool would that be?" Because I already have coverage, and anytime I hide behind something, you don't know my weapons are coming out, and I just use my energy to throw knives. I already.
Yeah, and you were literally going to hide behind.
I got really quick with like learning how to do the soul knight. Really quick on that because I already learned the road. It wasn't hard at all. But then whenever he's like, roll these dice, he had me roll 2 D20s, he had me roll 2D8 and D4. And apparently I rolled 1 dice, and he's like, "Cool, you're a monk. Oh, and these D20s, you roll high enough to take any race you want." And yeah, the other dice just fixed this scenario that you guys talked about. So I gave him not a lot of people know the Excalibur phase, but pretty much the look. Whenever he's like, "Monk," I'm like, "I did monk, and it's broken when you play with the rabbit."
I forgot you did that because that was for the one shot.
They can go back and forth like that, and then use key points to go back and forth to extend their movement. And yeah.
Yep.
I already knew I was probably going to lose Savela, and I was told not to say anything beforehand. That
yeah, because secrets make fucking friends, huh?
I wouldn't know what to tell because I had to be genuine. But I had the thing of, cool, so we can go one of 2 ways. You can still look like Havela when the smoke clears and they see Havela. It's not Havela. Havela doesn't remember anything. Or, if you remember, you can pick a different race. So, if Havela would have remembered, she would have been a Haya. Acting like a 5-year-old.
So not much of a difference from now. All right, Viking. How about you, Owen?
When do you think you run of that? Every session.
Pretty much. I mean, when has Zero not walked out of a battle fucking from being unconscious yet?
I think you've had one or two.
Hey, you got me, baby. You're fine.
I was definitely worried about Carmine there in the beginning because I was like, my hit points went down, and I was like, I need heal. I need heal.
Gotta get a little bit, let's go to sleep, and all of a sudden,
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, bro, I got 6 freaking points of health right now.
With mine, I feel as if, once again, the questions that are being asked are very loaded questions. But,
I want to know your answer for this one, and I'll give mine as well. Oh, I wish Scoob would have jumped back on, but I know he was going back.
Oh, no,
He got the Rona.
He got the Ronas. But, basically, I have a 2-part to this one. Yeah, anytime that I see Fangy McDickface.
Well, that's going to lead into the next question that Frank had, and so hold on to that thought.
Okay, well then I'm just gonna. Okay, then I'll give you this one first. Then, whenever we got to Ricky Tikki Tavi's house, and we're about to leave, and he was about to fix me, and everything was going to be fine. The curse was going to be gone, and everything was going to be awesome. We opened up the door, and we heard the damn screams and yells and howls of what, 17 or 16 different wolves.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the very first time that Noella damn near shit herself.
we were gonna go back in, the door shut.
Yeah, it was literally a walkout. Just, I'm gonna get fixed. Shit. Shit. I'm gonna die. So that was probably the very first time that Noella was actually terrified for her life.
When Noella was actually ready to fuck right off.
I was about to just, but yeah.
Anyway.
Then, like I said, the second part of that is every time I see Fang Faced, because I know that he has a liking to me very well.
Yep, so I guess that leaves me for that question. Sapphirus, the early times with Sapphirus, it was just about any real big battle we were going to get into. I felt like he was going to drop, and that would have been it. And then Bone Grinder happened, and my fears were realized is when Zior and I tried to burn that place to the ground. And
I still say you guys should listen to Zior. I mean,
hey, but at least got the kids out.
Burn it with fire.
Sorry, ADHD kicked in, and I sort of
but with Ryo, I really haven't thought. I can't think of a time that I was like, "Yep, this is how I die."
Spider. This is the end.
No, not even then.
Okay.
Because going off of Zior's method, burn it with fire. You didn't.
Right.
I can honestly say that I think with the last one with the spiders and whatnot, and this is literally going to be me tooting my own horn on this one. I think that the reason why some people were
The only thing that was good, I think Steven would have said that at a moment he thought he would have died, is if instead of his hologram being up there, and if there was a no, like, we're teleporting, can't say no. As if the hologram wasn't the hologram and it was actually Sivanak. He's like, we're all transporting, can't say no, go. Because he rolled that, he'd have been like,
oh yeah, that would have sucked.
that would have killed him.
Yep. All right, so Frank has a question, and I'm going to get it on with the next question here. It's a 2-parter. He goes, what's everyone's mindset at right now with the new characters in the party and and those that are still standing, not knowing if Robin or Strahd would jump in at any time?
I'd like to take this one first because I'm going to kind of reiterate myself. At any given time, anything can fucking happen. We're descending into the pits of madness and hell simultaneously. So, I don't know if I'm speaking for everybody on this one, but I'm assuming that the same mindset is for everybody. anything can fucking happen. It's all at chance right now.
I have to agree with you on that one. And
I'm same here. I mean, the only difference I can tell is that everyone can say let it go all the time they want to. But yeah, pretty much anything can literally happen. I mean, that's when a dragon coming in and kill the entire party. When here, a red power overlord coming in and kill the entire party. It's that dangerous, and anything can happen at this point. And at some points, I feel like we need to focus as of this moment is the overall group survival. At times, that's how dangerous it can easily become.
I have a different answer to that.
really,
Confusion. I don't know Strahd. I don't know Robin or Puck. I don't know whoever. I don't know anybody.
Tom.
I literally blinked into existence. So I don't know Strahd. I have no idea what's going on.
You're just tagging
along
along.
for the ride.
I'm being attacked. These people are helping to make sure I don't die. That's the only I'm following them because I have nowhere else to go. I have no idea what's going on. I'm just going with the flow because I have literally there is no information that my character knows. I would literally somebody needs to like sit down and explain the entire thing in order for her to even remotely understand what's going on. Because people are randomly showing up and she's like, are you friend? Are you foe? You're talking to each other? I don't know who you are. So she's not immediately going to attack anybody because she doesn't know who they are. She doesn't, like... So everybody's, like, freaking out about stuff. And she's like, why? Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I was getting
Cat came to help you calm down.
I know. My kitty has decided that I was in distress.
So, not answering for no, but if Bela was there, her exact response, especially with everything's happened, including the silver tongued responses and stuff, if one appeared, like say it was Puck, she would somehow find the bat signal to summon Strahd, like, he's here again. He made us take the skull because he made us play a game to fight your mom, and then he made us kill your mom, so he's here again, and we don't have a plate for you, but here he is. You can kill him. Contract null and void. But yeah.
That's a good
She
one.
would probably do that. If it was Strahd, she would be like, oh, yeah. Hi. This is how many times now?
So, I have a completely different outlook from literally everybody in the world.
Uh-oh.
And if Sivanak was here,
Oh no.
Oh,
I don't want to know.
Sivanak would agree with me. I believe he would at least.
Everybody run.
I am excited for the path we are walking down. Because I know that while we're walking on this path, we are walking through the pit of snakes. We are walking through the pit of snakes that is literally 1,000-foot drops on each side. I'm excited for the simple fact of this is going to happen. No matter if it's now, no matter if it's a year from now. This is going to happen. And if I'm going to go out, I'm going out on my own terms. I don't want to die in no way, shape, or form. But I'm not going to let Strahd, and I'm not going to let Robin decide whenever that time is. Whenever I get to meet Strahd, and I get to meet Robin again, it is going to be a very glorious day in Noella's eyes. Because that little son of a bitch has something coming to him very, very badly.
Fair
And
enough.
as far as Strahd goes, he wants to keep trying to rule over top of my life and he wants to keep trying to get me to do his bidding for him. Whatever the only bidding that he is ever going to get from me is the same bidding that his mommy got. Because whenever I take his ass down, I'm taking his fucking head too.
Fair enough.
There's something on your face. It was pain!
All right, and so
Frank, that was for you, by the way.
So I'm conflicted on the next two questions. So we're gonna let the dice choose. Pork chop, odd or even?
Even.
Evan, so all right. So the question that we're gonna go with for this one is, so before we started recording, and what is one of the funniest moments to happen and upon starting the Curse of Strahd?
We already answered that question.
No, like before we start filming, like before the camera starts rolling, the off-camera crap that we do.
Oh.
Oh, my bad. I misread that. That is my bad.
It was just before we recorded when we had it.
Okay, that's my bad. I misunderstood.
I cannot answer this question.
Like the funniest things that our characters did, or before we turn the cameras off?
We could do
I was gonna
that.
say, hey, we've kind of talked about what we've done, like before we start or the recording for YouTube. So let's go with like one of our funniest ones before we start.
Before we have the cameras on top funny stuff.
There's a bunch of stuff that I could say we've done.
They always talk smack with each other.
There's a lot of stuff we could say we've done, but that's the reason why we do it before the cameras.
We throw
Well, I
shade.
mean, there's a couple things we can get away with if.
No.
That's
No,
true.
not coming from fucking me.
This is true.
Well, you know what? I'm going to take myself out of this question.
Actually, wait.
I
On my
knew some
camera,
questions.
here's some of the footage we have of it off camera. Some of the stuff we have.
For Lobby, the elaborate is he's holding up a notepad that says "File not found." Aaron.
Error 404.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all the footage we got behind the scenes. That's all we got.
Can we go to a different
Yeah,
question?
can we-
'Cause
All right,
like,
so we'll-
We just act like
All
that
right,
didn't
so
happen.
we'll go to the question that was
We're gonna
initially going to be
get
yes.
canceled if we start
Yeah.
talking about shit that I end up
Yeah,
saying.
if you guys want to know, find us in person and we'll tell you.
Oh, for God's sakes.
No.
Don't even do that.
Yeah.
Listen, 90% of the
things you
shit
don't
that I
need to know.
say, I'm hearing for the first
If-
fucking time anyway. So.
If you go to our Facebook page, the D20 Misfits, I or Frank will get a notification for it, and we will answer the question as nicely as possible. To put it mildly,
We're really messed up.
we're fucked up. I'm a veteran, so some of the shit I say is dark military humor.
I've grown up with veterans my entire life.
So his humor is
military.
just as dark.
I was a
Yeah,
oil
I
field worker for like 10 years. So
I should have been born in I
it seemed
All
it
right.
was about to go there. It was about to go there.
So if you guys are truly curious, check us out on Facebook, the D20 Misfits. Message us. We'll try to be as PG as possible because I don't even think NC-17 would cover some of the jokes that we've made.
TVMA even pushing it.
Yep. All right. So with the
There's
clock
X-ray,
getting down to the
Blu-ray,
6-minute mark, this will probably be the last question of the night because we are getting up against 1 o'clock. If you could change, if you could, or would you change the race, class, or gender of your character, and if you did, why?
If you're starting with me, I want to say absolutely not. I wouldn't change anything about me. I love being a cleric. I love being the female Asmir cleric. I love the race. I love everything.
All right, I was going to start with you, Pork Chop. So, moving on down the line, Viking.
You have a furry bosom.
Can't even answer the damn question.
He can
No.
change his race, so he wouldn't necessarily have to
No.
be furry.
I don't think I would.
You wouldn't change any aspect of your
If he was a female, I couldn't mess with you all that. That's a lie. I asked him what.
So Dan, no.
All right.
Drugs.
Shy?
You want Havela back.
I love Havela, but if I could pick, like, if it wasn't for the monk part and if I didn't lose my memory, honestly, I would roll with the Tiefling again. I love the Tiefling character. It is an interesting one to play. And the last one I had last campaign was a variant with wings. Which, I mean, if something happens to Havela, that might already be in the works anyway. But yeah, if I could do that, I would definitely go back to being that good. Being a Tiefling monk or barbarian would definitely be very interesting.
Can see that. And Arian?
I want Mist back. I spent so much time on her.
Maybe come back.
Yeah. And I didn't even get to like broaden her horizons.
I didn't know all could have done that.
I'm sure. I'm sure there would have been a couple of difficulties with
She taught me the tips and then took the skills.
All right, Tyler, or how about you? Ooh,
I did mention earlier that before I was with my campaign, I wanted to do like a final list of them, not because of the race, but the fact that albino is like extremely out there, that makes it more set apart. But for this character, I'm actually pretty confident, and I kind of like this character as I am. I mean, I do kind of wish I could go for the gem Dragonborn to get that telepathy and gem flight facial traits, but I'm pretty I'm much more like, what's the word I'm looking for?
Satisfied?
Yes, satisfied with my character. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess that leaves just me now with Ryo. Oh, I mean, honestly, I don't think I would change anything with him. I mean, I might change. The only thing I'd actually change with him is what his arsenal is. Other than that, I don't think I'd really change anything else up. I mean, just because of the fact of with the way he's played out so far. Things with Sapphiros, I wish I could go back and change, but that's
me too. Like meeting.
ass hat.
No, it's a D20 Misfits hat, actually.
You made it.
Anyway, but with Ryo, again, nothing I'd really change. Maybe his race.
What would you change the race to?
Well, after reading Fizbin's, the Drake usually takes on the characteristics of the Dragonborn that you're usually with. So maybe I go with a Dragonborn in that case. And if I did, probably go with the Blue Dragonborn.
Ooh.
Yes, because that's what we need. Another Dragonborn.
I mean,
if I had Mist back, we'd have 3.
yeah. Well, it'd either be the Dragonborn, or I'd probably go on in Halfling again.
Listen, we should be something really, really funny and fuck with Frank and make a D&D party of all Dragonborns.
Timber, if you go for a halfling, if you fall down, should we say damn? Or
however, we can keep live on here for a few minutes longer.
what will we say if you fall down?
All right. So, we're gonna wrap up our normal video here for the night. Thanks for everyone that tuned in, and Frank and Scoob for jumping on for a little bit. However, if you're watching on YouTube Live, we're going to keep it rolling here for a couple more minutes. It's Tyler. Thanks for jumping on with us again, man. Next week we'll be back to our regular scheduled program. Tyler, we're going to call you up on Facebook here real quick. Look, if you don't mind.
I can just hop in on the YouTube chat.
All right. So we're going to hop off here, guys. We'll see you next week for episode 31 at Curse of Shadows. Those for the D20 Misfits. I'm Timber for the rest of the party. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
So
Okay, so meanwhile, back here on YouTube Live, for those of you who are still following, and so this could be our little bonus time.
See if Frank's the one. Right?
Frank, you still listening in on here?
I could have did that.
Well, that's the only way I can figure it out. Oh.
I'm gonna wait for.
So we'll wait a moment to see if he chimes back in, because it's been a while since he said anything.
It has. But he has said some things that have raised a good question for Noella. And I feel as if Noella would enjoy to speak her mind about those few things.
Well, nothing's popped up on the YouTube stream.
Well, either way, since the questions were asked, I'm going to answer them. Now, he's on it.
Okay.
Now, is Ty on here?
He might be. Give him a second. He might be. I don't know.
No,
No, we have to. Well, has to go home.
I know, but he can go on after drive out here. Oh God! Hey, there he is. All right, so if you was to look up in the group chat, the dual dungeon master said that self-preservation would Noella do the same, knowing she had the power to change one's fate or lose the character entirely. Fleeing isn't that cowardly, Noella. That's for the spiders. One that Eivor said, and what Noella said earlier about someone's coward. Sorry, that last part didn't mean anything. But whatever it comes down to saying that self-preservation and would Noella do the same. Honestly, no. And I would not have. I would not have done the same thing. I would not have saved myself over somebody else, especially seeing of how much pain that it caused for Sibinak and myself. So, yes, I there's honestly no way that I would have saved myself instead of somebody else in the party. Now, you said earlier, you've explained everything earlier, Ty, about why you did it and such. Blah blah. So that's why I'm not going to have a giant vendetta against you. Yeah, Noella, it does absolutely have a problem with Eivor. But it's not something that's going to affect
what's going to happen with the party.
Right. What will happen with the party.
Fair enough.
If something was to happen to where it came down to Eivor needing help, needing killed, I will stand beside him and fight. I will stand beside him and heal. I will do everything I can to keep him alive because I am not selfish. So that's why, whenever it came down to it, Georg needed my help more than he did at that point in time. That's why I was going to save Georg. It has nothing to do with me having an issue with him because I do, yes.
But it's not.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
Nothing malicious against him.
No, I won't myself be the cause of his demise. That won't be something that ever comes from me. If But if it is his fate to go, then it is his fate to go. Oh,
Very
that's a fair enough
fancy
answer.
way of saying I ain't healing you.
Yep.
You're on your own.
No, I mean, we've already put our hands.
We can save the rest of the questions. For next
Yeah.
Yep. We'll save those for
time.
another
We can
time.
even answer one question a night at the end of our session.
Yeah, that might be something.
Tonight we can answer questions.
So, if you guys have questions for us, make sure you send them to us on the D20 Misfits Facebook page as well as TikTok, or leave a comment on the YouTube channel here on one of our videos if you have a question for us. But also, you guys got any last minute things you want to say, or any other questions you guys want to ask?
Yes, I have one. But
What's
this is just a joke.
Uh-oh.
Who would you guys rather see me with?
There's a good question.
We need a
That-
For the
Facebook
viewers,
poll.
we're gonna make a poll. Who do you think Noella should end up with? Who's gonna get custody of Bela as well? Is it gonna be Noella and Zior? Or is it gonna be
No.
Noella and Sibnek? Sorry. The only thing I did that for is just
Tyler
because,
put
well,
pineapples.
Pineapples?
I mean, does he know what pineapple stand for?
Yeah, shortcake. Upside down.
He goes,
No.
I'd like to see Noelle go on a date with Strahd.
And then she leaves like, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling it. It's not you, it's me.
Something's eating at me.
Gotta go. you were
Save
very,
that one, please.
The steak
We
sucks.
need it.
you were fantastic and all, but just not feeling this. It might be the whole undead thing. You might not be feeling it anymore.
This is the last Strahd.
It might be the multiple lives. That's the problem.
I mean, I don't think I
You should share.
Sure, you're scared.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
another,
see,
I
sure,
want to
you're
know.
scared.
Just because, and a lot of us probably, I don't know if a lot of us wonder this or not, if you guys been following us through our characters and whatnot, who is your favorite character through the campaign so far? Null, Bela, Noella, no one got to see the recording with you
No, we got to
as
see
Augustus.
Nope.
One of your characters being Sapphires, surprise. Sapphires or Rio, Mystic or Carmine. We also have Simonak.
Or
Simonak,
we have
Warforged.
Warforged or non-metal Simonak.
We have Zior and we have Amber.
Look, I'm cool if nobody likes Zior, especially since he's, trying killing multiple
You
people.
keep trying to stray from being Valverde, and that is
We
wrong.
have Zior or Z for short, because now he probably won't tell you his entire fucking name because the cat's got his tongue. We have Zior and
it's Z.
Yeah, no, we have Zior and his name is Z.
No, it's Zior. Zior.
You're probably right. Trying not to be Valverde is.
That's what
Tyler
I'm saying.
said on the date they get goat chops.
Hey, listen, better keep that owlbear away from me because it's a monstrosity.
Yum, 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 yum.
It's supposed to destroy me.
All right. On that note, I think that's what we're going to call it for tonight, folks.
So from D20 Misfits, see you guys.
Toodles.
Have a good night.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
We won't see him. They'll see us.
Or we'll straw and see them.